the chair of the session, Honorable Refilwe Kekana. Thank you.
Honorable Refilwe Kekana, we are good. We can start, Honorable Member.
Am I audible?
You are audible.
I was just checking, Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, whilst we're waiting for Honorable Kekana.
No, thank you. You are audible, Chair of Committees. Let me try and check Honorable Refilwe Kekana. I'll try to phone here and find out what's the...
That is fine, Chair.
Mr. Mtunga, while we still check Honorable Refilwe Kekana, can you establish if the speaker is in?
Thank
Thank you very much.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, sorry about that glitch. I don't know, my microphone just did not want to speak to me. I think these things do happen, but we are ready to start now. Good morning, everyone. May we all stand and observe a moment of silent prayer and or meditation. Thank you very much. Please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem. I now call for the singing of the national anthem. You may switch your cameras if you so wish for the singing of the national anthem. Thank you. Thank you very much. You may now be seated and switch off your cameras.
Live streaming
I
is
would like to
on.
take the opportunity to acknowledge the following people in our midst. The Honorable Speaker of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, Honorable Lingteng Dombi Mekwe, the Chair of Committees, Honorable Sizakele Nkosi Malumbane, Deputy Chair of Committees, Honorable Mpapa Kanyane, the MEC for Community Safety in Gauteng, Honorable Faith Mazibuko, honorable members of the Portfolio Committee on Social Development, and honorable members of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature present. Also like to acknowledge Mr. Mos Pitso and Ms. Ntabise Ntsipane from the Electoral Commission of South Africa, the MMCs, the councillors from the various municipalities in Gauteng present here today, the Secretary of the Legislature, Mr. Peter Skosana, and his team of senior managers, the GPL's Men's Forum, and all officials of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature. The honorable members of the Sector Parliament, which includes the Speaker of the Sector Parliament, Honorable Macy Mutaum, the chairpersons of the various commissions of the Women's Sector Parliament, Honorable Hobbs, Honorable Morobe, Honorable Hololo, and Honorable Mamutami. All members of the Sector Parliament present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen present on this platform, and all other social media platforms created for this seminar. Good morning and a warm welcome to all of you to this important session of the Women's Sector Parliament as we wrap up the Women's Month activities under the theme, the Year of Charlotte Maxeke, the plight of women in a democratic South Africa under COVID-19. This is in recognition of the role played by women in the liberation struggle as we face new struggles and challenges such as the current COVID-19 pandemic and its effect and impact on women. The widespread and stubborn gender-based violence and femicide in our society, yet another pandemic, and the general poverty in society which bears the faces of women and children. Not forgetting the contradictions we face on COVID-19 vaccination against this global pandemic, which of course are not unique to South Africa. The topic for today's debates are as follows. The debate on looting and destruction of property led by Honorable Murobe. The debate on COVID-19 vaccinations, attitudes, stigmas, and perceptions led by Honorable Hobbs. The debate on gender-based violence led by Honorable Khololo. And finally, the debate on COVID-19 social relief of distress grant led by Honorable Mamotami. I would also like to thank and appreciate all the participants who took part in the regional dialogues that took place across the province under the leadership and stewardship of the chairpersons of the various portfolio committees in the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, including the participation of the Men's Forum in enriching the discussions in these regional dialogues. Not forgetting the organizers who worked tirelessly behind the scenes in preparation of these dialogues, which led us to where we are today, where we are hosting the Women's Sector Parliament as the Gauteng Provincial Legislature. I hope that all will go well this morning, and also take an opportunity to wish you well in your engagements and deliberations for this session. As it has been mentioned, my name is Refilwe Kekana, a member of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, who serves as a chairperson for the Social Development Portfolio Committee. I will be responsible for chairing the first part of the session, and thereafter I will hand over to the Honorable Speaker of the Women's Sector Parliament, Honorable Macy Motaung, who will take us through the rest of the proceedings. She will be assisted by Honorable Khololo where necessary. And I will then come in after your deliberations to receive the Commission's resolutions for processing. Like I said, I wish you all very successful and meaningful engagements during this important session. And please feel free to express yourselves in any of the official languages you may want to use. Remember, this is your platform and your voices must be heard. Your messages must be very clear. Also note that you do have time limitations in the House, so please try to stick to your time allocation without necessarily compromising on the gist of your debate. Without any further waste of time, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome the Deputy Chairperson of Committees, Honorable Mpapa Kanyane, and ask him to render a welcome address as well as outline the process to be followed. Honorable Kanyane, over to you.
Thank you very much, the Chairperson of this Women's Sector Parliament, Honorable Refilwe Kekana. Thank you very much. Again, we've already acknowledged some of the dignitaries that we have in this meeting. And let me also express our sincere appreciation for making sure that this day is really realized, where we have to honor women and again, also to address the issue of the gender-based violence. I must say, based on what you've really said, it is also my noblest wish that all the proceedings should really prosper as it has been planned. On that note, let me welcome everybody who is in this platform, and then also those who are joining us through other media platforms, the Facebook, the Twitter. You are all welcomed. And again, let me indicate that normally we declare the precinct using Rule 5(9), but in this case, we're not going to do that because we are outside the legislature. For now, I'm just welcoming everybody and feel free to really raise issues during the discussions and debate and engage without any fear. I must also indicate that this sector parliament, we met some weeks ago with the people who participated in the previous women's sector parliament, where we planned the report back. You understood the challenges that we faced on that day, and we are really planning to have it very soon. And again, I must also welcome the MEC, who is going to really give a keynote address. And we have to listen very carefully. Some of the issues will filter in when we'll be debating these identified topics. Again, the speaker is going also to give us a keynote address as an opening, and then some of the issues, we have really to carry them into our discussions and then also into the resolutions. We have the chairperson of committees of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature. We have to listen carefully at the end, how we really sum up our discussions. On that note, let me not really go long. Succinctly, you are welcomed and feel free to participate. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mbapa Kanyani, for your welcome remarks. Thank you so much. I would now like to welcome the Honorable Linteng Ntombi Mekwe, the Speaker of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, to address the sitting on the purpose of this event. Honorable Speaker. Honorable the Speaker, is the Honorable Speaker in the House? Can I please get an indication?
Honorable Speaker is in the House.
Honorable Ntombi Mekwe, is she in the House? Okay, if she's not yet in, I would then move on to the next item. And when the speaker comes in, maybe someone can alert me and then I will accommodate her. But at this stage, I would like to welcome Ms. Ntabiseng Tsipane from the Electoral Commission of South Africa to address the sitting on voter registration and voting procedures. Over to you, Ntabiseng.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, Mary Filo Kekana. I thank you for inviting us, and I thank you for giving us this opportunity to speak to members of the provincial legislature. My name is Ntabi Tsipane. I am the provincial manager in the province of Gauteng, responsible for electoral operations in the Electoral Commission. I want to thank and acknowledge the welcome that was made by Honorable Kekana. And before I came on, we were going to be addressed by Honorable Speaker Memekwe. Let me start off, ladies and gentlemen, by indicating that it is now a known fact that on the 3rd of September, the Constitutional Court set aside the proclamation that was made by the Minister of Cocta and which proclaimed the date of elections as the 27th of October. The court further ordered the IEC to decide by Monday the 6th whether it is practically possible to hold a voter registration weekend. And if they deem it so, then they should conduct voter registration weekend. IEC was also ordered to reopen the voter registration until the 10th of September to allow eligible voters to register at the relevant municipal office. The court ordered the minister to issue a new proclamation to determine the date of the local government elections, which could be held any day between the 27th of October and the 1st of November 2021. The proclamation can be made either on the day following the voter registration weekend, if one is held, or not earlier than 10th September, if a voter registration weekend is not held. The court further held that the election timetable that was published on the 4th of August, which set August the 23rd deadline for registration of candidates and submission of lists, that is remain applicable and therefore legally binding. However, the court ordered provided for the two possible exceptions for the preservation of the original timetable. One, if a voter registration weekend was going to be held, the IEC must, in terms of section 11.2 of the Municipal Electoral Act, publish such an amendment to the current timetable as may be reasonably necessary. If no registration weekend was going to be held, IEC was supposed to make arrangements to the election timetable, but only those amendments that are reasonably necessitated by the reopening of voters' roll until September 2021. Now, based on that order, IEC had no option but to comply. Thank you for the presentation. I see it's now beaming on this on the thing, on the screen. The commission, I'm on slide 4. The commission had already taken measures to ensure that it complies with the orders of the Concord relating to the conduct of municipal elections by 1 November 2021. Having considered and deliberated on the matter, the commission had made a determination that registration weekend is necessitated ahead of the general election. Now, registration weekend is now scheduled for the weekend of the 18th and 19th September. The registration weekend will offer all eligible citizens an opportunity to register or update their registration details. All our 2,816 voting stations in the Gauteng province will open at 8 o'clock until 5 o'clock on both the 18th and the 19th. The commission then also held consultative meetings with the Minister of COGTA in line with the orders of the court. And they advised the minister that it will be proceeding with the registration weekend on the 18th and 19th of September. That therefore meant that the minister will proclaim the date of election on the 20th of September. And she alluded to this in her media briefing yesterday. Now, the proclamation of the election date will cause the voters' roll to be closed for purposes of 2021 municipal elections. Now, in view of the fact that the voter registration process has been reopened by the order of the court, a number of amendments to the election timetable are necessary. And this is permitted by the court, by the way. The commission is entitled to publish such amendments to the current timetable as may be reasonably necessary. That is, as we quote directly from the order. This includes the need to set a new deadline for candidate nominations. The scheme of the
We have lost you, Ntabiseng. We can't hear you now.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are back on now. You can proceed.
Hello?
Yes, you are audible. You can proceed now.
Network problems, my goodness. Okay, I'll continue hoping that I'm audible. I'll start on slide 5 again. The proclamation of the election date will cause the voters' roll to be closed for purposes of 2021 municipal election. Okay. Thank you, Chairperson. Okay. I was saying on this slide 5 that whenever a proclamation is published, it means the voters' roll and registration, basically, for purposes of the imminent election stops. So in this instance, when the minister proclaims officially the date of elections as the 1st of November 2021, a proclamation which is going to be published on the 20th of September, that will cause the voters' roll to close. Now, in view of the fact that voter registration process has been reopened as we speak by the order of the court, a number of amendments to the election timetable are necessary, permitted by the order, of course, which makes it clear that the commission is entitled to publish such amendments to the current timetable as may be reasonably necessary. That included the need to set a new deadline for candidate nomination. Now, the Municipal Electoral Act is such that a registration deadline is always intended to precede the candidate nomination deadline. The purpose, therefore, is that people who are intending to stand as candidate are supposed to be registered. So in order for you to be a candidate, you must be a registered voter. That is the reason why the registration deadline always precedes the candidate nomination deadline. It is clear that there were different interpretations, as now we know that the matters are now in the courts of law, where the Democratic Alliance has taken the matter to court to question the fact that IEC amended the timetable to include submission of candidates. Now, there are currently 13,190
We lost you again there in Tabiseng. Just do what you did earlier to come back. We can just hear the background noise, but we can't hear you now. Tabiseng, are you still there? We seem to be experiencing a problem with Tabiseng. I'm not sure if a technical team will be able to assist in this regard.
Hello?
Yes, Tabiseng, you can speak now.
No.
Okay.
Okay, no. Can I go ahead, Mme?
Yes, proceed, May.
Chairperson?
Yes, you can proceed.
I am here and
You can speak, Tabiseng.
I am here. Can I carry on?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Proceed. Proceed.
Am I okay now, ma'am?
Yes.
slightly better, I suppose.
Yeah, proceed.
Okay. Can we go to slide number 6, please? Okay. All right. Currently in the province of Gauteng, at the time of close of candidate nomination, in line with the, yes, I'm proceeding. Am I? Yeah. I'm saying by the time we close for candidate nomination, in line with the previous timetable. I'm speaking. Hello? Yes, I'm saying we had 13,199 candidates by the close of candidate nomination in line with the previous timetable, which has now been declared invalid as per the Concord order. Yes, I'm continuing. The candidates that we had by the close of candidate nomination last time in line with the previous timetable was 13,199. Out of these, we had 103 independent candidates.
Ntabiseng, we lost you again there, unless if it's just me. If you can just come back and proceed.
I don't know what is happening, Chair. The system keeps on muting me.
Okay, we can hear you now. You can proceed.
Are we okay now?
Yes.
Okay. All right, once the proclamation is made on the 20th of September, the commission on the 20th will publish, yes. Okay, the new proclamation date as set by the timetable will be on the 20th of September, where the minister will publish on Gazette the date of elections as 1st November 2021. Now, following that, the commission will be publishing a timetable which will be operative and legally binding with the timelines that will be set there. And then we are working on truncated timeline, which is reasonably necessary to meet the outer deadline for the conduct of the 2021 municipal elections. Basically, the timetable is congested into 42 days. Ordinarily, would work within 90 days, but under the circumstances, will work within 42 days towards the latest date, which is the 1st of November 2021. To make our work easy this time around, the commission has acquired what we call voter management devices. It's an equipment which will be used for the first time over the registration weekend. These devices will be functioning online in most registration stations, and this will facilitate the process of voter verification almost instantly. The mapping facility on these devices facilitate the correct registration of voters in relation to the ward of ordinary residents. So we are averting a situation of getting people to vote unintentionally, of course, at wards that are not there. So the address of the person will locate the person correctly in the VD and in the ward of ordinary residents. Now, these devices that we have will allow for the inspection of the voters' roll to be prepared for objections and close on the 23rd of September. Because people register register at the point and instantly they are verified, that will make it possible for the CEO to certify the voters' roll by the 23rd of September. So the new planning dates, ladies and gentlemen, that the commission is working with, the timetable will of course be
Thabisen, come back.
Am I back again?
Yes, you are back.
Hello?
Thank you. Yes, you are audible
There
now.
we go. It is on the 20th of September, and this allows for 42-day election timetable. The 23rd September will be objections to inspection of the voters' roll. And then, okay, and the 24th of August, on the 24th of August, the Commission will decide on objections to the voters' roll. Cut-off date for nomination of candidates will be 21st of September, and certification of the voters' roll will happen on the 26th of September, and final list of candidates that is complied will be made available on the 29th of September for everyone to see in the Gazette, and the election day will be on the 1st of November. Those are the planning days that we're working with. In the province of Gauteng, we have recruited 6,200 staff members who will be working in our 2,816 voting stations in 529 wards. It's quite a large number of people. We had completed training of all these staff members, including BAFA staff. And this week, starting from Monday the 6th, we embarked on refresher trainings to make sure that people are battle ready and they can remember what we trained them on when we were preparing for the registration of the earlier date. That is that. And we are meeting with local political party liaison committees as well as province to keep them updated with the developments, and communication is ongoing in that regard. We are ready for the election, for the registration of 18 and 19 September. Thank you very much, Chairperson. And I'm sorry about the glitches.
No problem. Thank you very much, Thabisen. Thank you for your address. You can now mute yourself. Honorable members, the Honorable Speaker, Ntombi Mekwe, is back now. She had a glitch with her microphone. And I would like to welcome Honorable Linteng Ntombi Mekwe, the Speaker of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, to address the sitting on the purpose of this event. Honorable Mekwe, over to you.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning to all our participants and our stakeholders in the meeting. And my apologies for the glitches that have been created this morning. Let me acknowledge the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Nomvuyo Manamela, the Chairperson of Committees, Honorable Sizakele Nkosi Malubane, the Deputy Chair of Committees, Honorable Mpapa Kanyane, the MEC for Safety and Security, Honorable Faith Mazibuko, the Chairpersons of Education Portfolio, Honorable Matume, MPLs present, and the Chairpersons of other committees, our representative from the IEC, and thank you very much for the brief presentation that is very clear. And honorable members of this House, the Speaker of the Women's Parliament, colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say this morning, Malibongwe, as we're consulting with women. On behalf of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, I am delighted to welcome you to this Women's Parliament. The Gauteng Legislature is commemorating the 2021 Women's Month by hosting the annual Women's Sector Parliament under the theme, I want to quote, the year of Charlotte Maxeke, the plight of Gauteng women in democratic South Africa under COVID-19, in recognition of the role played by women in the liberation struggle of South Africa. This year's Sector Parliament takes place as we mark the 65th anniversary of one of the biggest demonstrations in the history of South Africa, when thousands of women marched to the Union buildings in 1956 to petition against past laws. We retreated to the Sector Parliament inspired by the voices of the call by the women of South Africa who came before us. More than 20,000 women from all parts of South Africa staged a peaceful march to the Union buildings. The then Prime Minister Strydom, who had been notified of the militancy of the women, was not there to receive them. In fact, we know that he was there, but he had to use a small window to get out of his office and run away from the woman. But the woman left bundles of petitions containing more than 100,000 signatures at the Prime Minister's door. They sang and shouted, "I want to sing. I know that I'm not a good singer. Watinta bafazi, watinta imbogoto, pasopa uzogufa." We are now celebrating the 2021 Women's Month activities under strict adherence to lockdown restrictions due to COVID-19 pandemic, meaning this year's Women's Parliament is approached innovatively without losing to celebrate the successes of women's struggles, raise the awareness about the role that women have played in bringing about gender equality, and facing the challenges of socio-economic emancipation of women and gender-based violence. It is against this call that the Gauteng Provincial Legislature reiterate our commitment to the women of a united, non-racial, non-sexist, democratic, and prosperous South Africa as enshrined in the Freedom Charter. The Gauteng Provincial Legislature, as a tribune of the people, is committed to the need to accelerate and improve programs aimed at improving the quality of the lives of people of Gauteng. The main purpose of the Women's Parliament is to empower women by giving them a platform to raise their concerns and to fully understand that they are masters of their own destiny. The sector parliament also seeks to give the women a chance to create a network of how women can enhance social cohesion and to have greater access to economic opportunities. The objectives, therefore, being to provide a platform for women to canvass and share their ideas, engage robustly among their peers on issues pertaining to their plight, and lobby and influence public representatives responsible for legislative and policy development. Another objective is to encourage women of Gauteng to vaccinate for the COVID-19 virus. We are aware, Madam Speaker and the Chair, that there are a lot of wrong information that is circulating to discourage people from taking a virus. Discouraging people to vaccinate, but want to remind all our women and the people of Gauteng that, you know, we are vaccinated as early as we were born. You will remember the BGCs, the portfolio, the measles, many other vaccination that we took. But why is this one now becoming an issue that we need to discourage people from taking it? We want you to actually lead by example. We also want to speak out against the malicious destruction of property and looting of malls and businesses. What I've observed during that period was more women and children were highly affected. I recall also in my own area, I had to go buy bread in town to assist elderly people that did not have cars, but also did not have access to their own monies because the malls were destroyed. There was nowhere that they can get ATM to get money from. So when there's destruction of property, women and the children are the ones that are highly affected. We also want to put in practice the Gauteng Provincial Legislature mandate of public participation through the facilitation of engagement between the Women Gauteng Legislature and the Gauteng Provincial Government. Hence, Ms. Masbogo is here representing government. We also want to take Parliament to the women of Gauteng and to educate the women on the voting procedures and regulations as set out by the Independent Electoral Commission in preparation for the upcoming local government elections. Many a times we are discouraged from exercising our democratic right of voting because maybe a particular candidate
Honorable the Speaker, we have lost you. We have lost you there. If you can just come back.
Okay, I don't know what happened, Chair. But what I was also saying is that with the elections, when a candidate is a woman, you'll find that people will gather around and discourage people from voting which is their democratic right to exercise. So as women, we need to stand up to ensure that we support each other in ensuring that the elections are free and fair at the end. At the same time, it is equally important to mention that women's empowerment includes the promotion of women of both economic and social development. As you are going to debate today, you should come up with measures to enhance participation of women in the economy, and don't forget the female-headed households who should access resources, land, and housing. At the same time, we must ensure that we use this platform to deepen democracy through mobilizing the masses of our people to participate effectively in governance processes. In this way, we can be assured that our democracy will be sustained. We must be inspired by the understanding that people are their own liberators, and our role as public representatives is to empower them to realize their potential. It is our firm belief that we'll never win the struggle for women's emancipation alone as government. An important lesson from the life of Charlotte Maxeke is based on what she once said. I want to quote, "This work is not for yourself. Kill that spirit of self and do not live above your people, but live with them. And if you can rise, bring someone with you." I close quote. It is against this backdrop that we are therefore calling for strengthening of our working relations with other women formations like the Progressive Women's Movement, the non-governmental organization, and the community-based organizations, including the churches and the workplaces. Over the past week, we conducted regional dialogues across Gauteng to build and strengthen existing partnership between the Gauteng Provincial Legislature and organized women formations. In preparation for this sector parliament, we partnered with Gauteng Provincial Government, Independent Electoral Office, the Home Affairs, academia, and young women in Gauteng. South Africa has undoubtedly made great strides in increasing the number of women in parliament and government. However, women in numbers only are not enough. The mere presence of a woman in political structures will not necessarily translate into women's concerns being addressed or a better quality of life for women. It therefore follows that whether you are, as a woman, are involved in community development, we have to be confident in your demand to be treated with dignity and respect, as it is generally accepted, and as a matter of fact, in our continent, that when you educate a woman, you educate a nation. Therefore, women occupy a strategic place in society, which is the drivers of development. Lastly, I hope that the 2021 Women's Sector Parliament will go a long way in responding to a call by Charlotte Maxeke in recognition of women's rights to equality and recognizes the contribution of women in the struggle for liberation and development post-1994. Let me take this opportunity, Madam Speaker of the session, to wish you a successful deliberations and to all the members of the sector parliament, including the members of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature and the MECs in particular. I know Honorable Mazibuko, if you can, because you sing better than me. Watinta bafazi, watinta imbogoto pasopa uzogufa. I wanted to sing that. Thank you very much.
Watinta bafazi, watinta bafazi, watinta imbogoto pasopa.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Linteng Ntombi, for your address. It is much appreciated. I now wish to welcome the Honorable MEC of Community Safety, Honorable Faith Mazibuko, and request her to deliver the keynote address as stated by the Deputy Chair of Chairs. Honorable Mazibuko, the podium is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson of the session. And let me greet the Speaker of the Legislature. Let me acknowledge the office bearers, the Deputy Speaker. Let me acknowledge the Chair of Chairs and the Deputy Chair of Chairs, and yourself. Let me also acknowledge all the members of the legislature, but the most important people that make us to be gathered here, the women of Gauteng. And I say, watinta bafazi, watinta imbogoto, And I further say, Malibongwe igama lamakhosikazi. And this is actually
Malibongwe.
Malibongwe makhosikazi. Madam Chair of the session, Honorable Member Refilwe Kekane, today is an important day in the life of women of our province here in Gauteng, but also an important day also in the life of our nation. Exactly 65 years ago, 20,000 South African women from all walks of life and various parts of our country marched to the union buildings to demand an end to the dehumanizing past laws. Despite the dangers that they faced of challenging the apartheid authorities, they asserted their worth as human beings and refused to be relegated to the margins of history in their own country. We salute the courage of that generation and its leaders, and the leaders who were actually in the forefront of that march. This year, we have declared, as the provincial government, we have declared the year 2021 as the year of Charlotte Maxeke, who was a courageous women's rights activist and also a leader who was born almost 150 years ago. We celebrate this year of her birth because we want to encourage the women of this country to follow her example and to follow in her footsteps. The province under the theme was celebrating under the theme of saying the year of Charlotte Maxeke, Gauteng realizing women's equality, and we celebrate the resolve of these women to determine their own destiny. At the same time, we pay tribute to today's generation of women amidst the challenges that are facing them, which one of them being COVID-19 and the gender-based violence, which are the major pandemics in our lifetime. Just as the women of 1956 fought against the injustices of their time, the women of today are also engaged in a new frontier of struggle. It is a struggle for equal rights, dignity, economic liberation, freedom from violence. Women have always been instrumental in the advancement of human cause, and women have played a crucial role in the struggle for freedom, justice, and equality. And yet it is women who always bear the brunt of inequality, discrimination, marginalization, poverty, and violence. And I'm sure in the words of Madam Speaker just now, women also are not even given an opportunity to be leaders by standing as ward councillor candidates in their various wards. They're intimidated, they are harassed, and they're even shot at for the mere fact that they availed themselves, that they want to serve the community. And like the women of 1956, the present generation of women must lead the struggle for a society that is free of these ills, and particularly the patriarchal relationships that cause them. Such a society is both and absolutely necessary. Can somebody please mute your mic? SM, who is SM? Who is SM? The pandemic also, by working together, by refusing to submit, will achieve true gender equality in our lifetime. If we are to do so, we must eradicate all forms of gender-based violence, violence against women, children, and gender non-conforming persons, and members of the LGBTI community, and community threatens the very foundation of our democracy. In addition to the challenges of poverty, unemployment, and gender-based violence, the COVID-19 pandemic also continues to impact on our economic recovery and the macroeconomic environment that still remains constrained. The pandemic has also changed the way government, business, and civil society work with it, and those with access to modern technologies have been able to work from home with some inconvenience, but prolonged working hours. In actual fact, Madam Chairperson of the session, we now work longer hours because of this technology, and we're even expected to sit in meetings, even at night, going through until the early hours of the morning, because you can't walk out, there is curfew outside. The fear of contracting the virus, the lockdowns, the loss of job and closure of businesses had a negative impact on people's mental health. And according to Statistics South Africa, unemployment rate increased by 0.1 percentage points from 32% in the fourth quarter of 2020 to 32.6% in the first quarter of 2021. The largest decreases in employment were observed in the elementary occupations, followed by domestic workers, and followed by craft and related trade, skilled agriculture, and also many other sectors that we find majority are women who are found in those sectors. Many small businesses and township entrepreneurs also completely collapsed, including women-owned businesses. Even the looting that took place during the month of July, Madam Chairperson of the session, saw many women. Lo mama lo hlala lapha ekhoneni athengisa isitibulu, umama athengisa amakipkipi, umama othengisa umbila, umama othengisa amahutwana, nomama othengisa amagwinya. Some of those women were actually affected because even their stock was looted. The COVID-19 infection data as well as the GCRO vulnerability index points to a double burden for women. Women are testing positive at a higher rate than men, and women have a greater social and economic vulnerability during lockdown, again with women of working age being the most affected. More women, almost 56% of them, than men are testing positive here in Gauteng. What might be driving the higher rate of this infection is that many women actually are frontline workers in the healthcare facilities. Others are cashiers, others are cleaners, and others are nurses. It is also possible that because women make up the majority of grant recipients, some of them, you find they stand in long queues trying to go and get their grant for their children. The recent looting also has had devastating impact on our economy and on our society, resulting in increased unemployment and negatively affecting service delivery. It has been 3 years, Madam Chairperson of the session, that the President has held a presidential summit on gender-based violence and femicide. And to add to this sketch, and subsequently, there's been a national strategic plan to end gender-based violence and femicide that was actually developed. Gauteng also, we responded by launching our own provincial gender-based violence response plan, which had 5 pillars. First of them being prevention of gender-based violence. Second being providing care support and healing for victims. Third one being the enhanced legal and policy framework. Fourth one, strengthening the criminal justice system. And fifth one being economic empowerment for women. Even in 2020, we made sure as the Gauteng provincial government, we respond to making sure that women are at the forefront. At the height when GBV was very high in our province, we were able to mobilize communities, we were able to mobilize society in order to find gender-based violence. And women, as usual, were at the forefront in making sure that they fight for this. Women as safety ambassadors who are actually also doing door-to-door are the ones that are also assisting us in making sure that we fight this scourge. Gauteng still remains amongst the top 30 police stations that contribute to high numbers of gender-based violence, rapes, and assault GBH. Assault GBH, it means women are assaulted and are beaten, others actually end up dying. These are Moroka police stations. Some of them I'll quote the police stations. It's Moroka police station, Mamelodi, Alexander, Kagiso, Rietgat, Temba, Honeydew, Ivory Park, and Orange Farm police stations. So communities that live in those communities, please help us because we see the sketch. These police stations, they keep on remaining in the top 30 and they are still in the top 30. We are not seeing any changes in them. Recently, even in Orange Farm, we also realized that even children are actually killed. Social grants also are also in place, Madam Chairperson of the session, to improve and help to improve the standard of living of our people, and also help the vulnerable to fight poverty and be able to be assisted. These generally include older people, people with disabilities, and people with young children. South African government also responded to the economic hardships experienced by individuals and households through the social relief grant that is being provided in different ways. Social assistance also is there to be able to assist majority of our women to be able to access and be able to have something that actually assists them. The Department of Social Development also provides social protection services and leads government in efforts to also forge partnerships through which vulnerable individuals, groups, and communities become capable. One of the chief departments also responsible for this alleviating poverty, as I indicated, is social development, but it does work hand in hand with the SASSA, which is your South African Social Security Agency, in ensuring that women are assisted. The Gauteng provincial government has also created a contact center system that allows citizens to request food relief directly from government, and the system is managed from the Office of the Premier to ensure responsiveness. Our commitments towards the empowerment of women in this province, Madam Chairperson of the session, has been matched by our commitments in advancing the position of women nationally. Through the Gauteng Enterprise Profiler, as the provincial government, we have allocated an amount of 250 million to gear private and public sector investment aimed at economic revitalization. The funds are structured as a wholesale lending instrument aimed at focusing on working capital financing. This approach will ensure that support is provided to township-based businesses, targeting SMMEs, targeting the informal sector, targeting the taxi economy, targeting the township property sector, targeting township retailers, and also assisting those that need startup capital. Applications were opened, and hopefully many women were able to access that. The Gauteng Rebuilding Fund is exclusively for Gauteng SMMEs that were affected by COVID and looting. And with this initiative, we want to live in a province where women are economically active and not limited by social attitudes and practices, or even by economic circumstances. As the Gauteng provincial government, we call upon everyone to join in the most important struggle in rejecting sexism in our homes, in our churches, in our schools, in our organization, in our work, and also in government places. Let us work together to realize the generation equality of our lifetime. I wish to quote Charlotte Matege in closing, Madam Chairperson of the session. She said, I quote, "Deal with it. You can't conquer what you did not confront," close quote. In those few words, I'm saying, Malibongwe Kamalama Kosigazi, and wishing our Women's Parliament all the success, and hoping all our deliberations will bear fruit, and as the provincial government, we commit ourselves that will make sure that we'll implement all the decisions that have been taken. Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson of the session.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Mazibuko, for the keynote address. We really appreciate the address. Thank you. I now want to hand over to the Speaker of the Women's Sector Parliament 2021, Honorable Macy Motaung, to take us through the next session of the program. I hope that all is well, Honorable Macy Motaung.
Thank you, Honorable.
Over to you now, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Am I audible enough?
Yes, you are.
Thank you so much. With the theme, the year of Charlotte Mateke, the plight of Gauteng women in democratic South Africa under COVID-19, in recognition of the role played by women in liberation struggle of South Africa. Kindly allow me to thank the Honorable Faith Mazibuko for delivering of the keynote address. Honorable members, I would like to explain to the chairperson of the various commissions how we'll be dealing with the commission's report. I believe that during the discussion of commissions in the workshops, each commission agreed on resolutions that will be presented and tabled in this sitting today. I will ask the person designated to present the resolutions of the commission and hand over the resolutions to the table after the debate, who will then hand them for further processing as agreed. At the end of the debates, the commission's resolutions will be handed over to chairperson of the committee of the legislature so that they can be tabled at their meetings and forwarded to the executive for action. Honorable members, allow me to call the secretary to read the first order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Debate on looting and destruction of property and infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Thank you. Let me now call the following honorable members to take us through. In the first session, let me call, I think I've lost something. Just give me a minute. All right. Debate on looting and destruction of public infrastructure. Allow me to call Honorable F. Poka to take us through.
Thank you, Chair. The chairperson for the destruction of public infrastructure is actually Priscilla Morobe. I'm the chairperson of the committee. Thank you, Chair, and thank you, honorable members of the House. Looting took place this year, 2021 July, was an outcry of people regarding the economic state of our country. These actions were disguised towards the arrest of former President Jacob Zuma, knowing very well that the majority of the people did not even feel an emotional attachment to the situation. Malls and warehouses are places that were targeted for these actions. These places that I mentioned are places that mostly employ women. Poverty has exacerbated by a severe social and economic restriction aimed at blocking the spread of COVID-19. We are currently dealing with 3 prominent problems in our country: unemployment, shortage of skills, and COVID-19. In 2019, 41.8% of households in South Africa were female-headed, which amounted to a total of approximately 7.2 households. Looting has now added the pressure to the existing crisis of unemployment.
Is where the men in the households are not actively involved. So the effect of looting has not just affected women, but the families of these women. Now, the businesses that have been affected are not only the formal. There are informal businesses that have had a hard knock. 46% of informal businesses in this country are led by women. Now, these are the women that would be selling snacks, that are doing hair around the vicinity of the malls or where people are largely flocking. And these women have had to shut down their informal businesses, some of whose products were taken away from them during the looting. The opportunity to make a livelihood for their families was rudely interrupted by the looting activities. Now, it doesn't end there. The hard reality is that we have been faced up by COVID-19, and the effects thereof have been detrimental in that they have resulted in many deaths. Now, apart from the deaths caused by COVID-19, we have had to deal with over 330 deaths recorded due to looting. Let's bring it home. I am from the COJ, in particular in Meadowlands. And in Meadowlands, we have 2 centers that were hugely affected. That's the Ndofaya Mall and the Middle Point. Now, between the 2 malls, we lost a total, or at least a number of 11 fatalities. People that were killed as a result of the stampede because of the looting. This means a direct bereavement to a certain mother, to a certain wife, to a sister, to a daughter, ugogo nabo auntie. Now you can imagine the hardness of the situation that they are now having to raise money. They have just lost a job. Now their family member is no longer because of the looting. Not only that, some of them, their policies lapsed because they lost jobs. I will not even go to the effects of unemployment in our country that's affecting women And this looting business has really exacerbated the problem in our communities. Now, it goes without saying that the effect of looting has had a negative impact on women in our country. Let's talk about mental health. The rate of anxiety and stress has undoubtedly increased. Feelings of anxiety, depression, anger, sadness, fear, and hopelessness are on an all-time high. Women are affected by the looting that has happened, the anxiety of where and how you're going to derive food for your family. The speakers before me have alluded to the fact that as compared to having to walk to a center nearby, now we are forced to take transportation to town in order to buy groceries for our families. So in the very little sense that you are remaining with, you still have to take care of transportation. Now that causes a lot of stress. Women are affected. It is that at least 55% said 55% rather of women said that they experienced anxiety and panic. 46% were under financial pressure, and 40% had felt depressed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if there are any, it doesn't end there. The effects of looting on women have been drawn down even to a level of early childhood development. Now, speaking as one who has an ECD, you probably can hear my background noise, which unfortunately I can't quiet it any further than this. The experiences that we had as ECD in the country is that some of the centers, again, I'll make an example from a center in Meadowlands, which is located adjacent to the Middle Point. The principal thereof gave a report to say, on the morning that the looting started at Middle Point, they had to take the children and move them from the center physically to another center for safekeeping because they saw that something that seemed like a riot was looming. Now the children, from 0 to 5 years to 6 years, for the first time in their lives, for most of them, had to experience stones being thrown around, had to experience speeding police cars around, and that caused stress on the very children, let alone the women who are ECD practitioners. The effects of looting have had a very bad impact and a bad effect on women in our country. Now, I want to talk about the subject of moral decay. When we look at the whole subject of looting, we can surely point to the fact that there has been a high rate of moral decay in our country. We can certainly point that the moral compass of our country is no longer the same. And what could be the reason? Well, one of the reasons we know that because of lockdown, churches have had to shut down. And as churches are a hub of where morality is promoted, young people, which were mostly seen in the forefront, have had to be easily coerced to participate in this looting. Now, the sad part is that of the voice notes that we have had circulating of those that were inciting violence, sadly, these have been voices of people that we imagine are supposed to be fathers, but these were the people that were perpetrating this type of violence. Now, this leaves women in a point where the man is absent at home, and while the man is absent, he is perpetrating violence. The young men, the young girls that are staying with this woman at home are now out of control because peer pressure also has gotten to its rise to hear that my friend has just gotten a new pair of shoes from looting, so they want to go out. Now, you imagine the amount of stress on this woman that my child might not come back home. My child might actually die. My child might even actually get arrested. Speaking of arrest, the most astounding point during this looting for the Meadowlands community was that the Meadowlands police station is situated right between the two centers, the Middle Point and the Ndofaya Mall. But sadly enough, these malls were totally looted, again, with a total of 11 people dying when the police station was right there in the
Honorable
midst.
member, as we wrap up.
As I wrap up, thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. In South Africa, we know that the higher percentage of the community are of a Christian faith. They are believing or attending or believing to something. I want to urge the House that we look at how we can remold our communities back again, even if it means in absence of the church. Perhaps the church needs to become more mobile. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Puka. Honorable members, let us kindly be time conscious. Time is money, all we know that. Allow me to call Honorable Mbamba to give us a side of her speech. Honorable Mbamba. Allow me to call Honorable N. Mbamba. Honorable Mbamba, are you present? Honorable Mbamba.
Okay, I'm available. Greetings to the chair. Greetings to all honorable members of the House. With the current state of our country, with the current status of our country, with the current unemployment rate, with the current rate of substance abuse, crime, gender-based violences, all these at the end of the day, they affect women in most cases. So for that reason, all the states, the state lootings as well as the state funds, all those who are looting the state funds and the state resources, at the end of the day, all those things, they are affecting women, as at the end of the day, most women are single parents, and in most cases, the drug abuse, the drugs and substance abuses, the crime, the unemployment rates, they are the ones who are affected. So to all those who are looting the state funds and all those who are looting the state resources, they are affecting women at the end of the day. So I would like to say they should stop, because at the end of the day, women are the one who are affected by depressions. Women are the ones who are vulnerable at the end of the day. Women are the ones who are in most cases are affected by gender-based violences, which causes them most of the depressions and anxieties and all those illnesses. And as well, concerning the looting of the public properties and small businesses properties, at the end of the day, most people who are suffering or are affected are women as well, as they are the ones in most cases you find are at the corners who are selling vegetables for their children, them in most cases who are selling the scopases, who are selling fish, meat, and who are having small businesses. At the end of the day, the people who are affected by the looting are the women, as well as when the fish and chips, the fast food, most of them, they are owned by women. And in my place, particularly, there is the shopping center there that is called Tsakani Corner. There by Tsakani Corner, there are most small businesses there. Most of them, they were owned by women that I knew. Some of them, though they are not from South Africa, but they are women. At the end of the day, their businesses were affected. Even they were women who are from South Africa who were affected there by Tsakani corner. They looted, even not even in the shopping center, but even outside. And most women were affected. Coming to me personally, I was working for a very long time. I was not working, and then in June, I started to find job because I have my own business. I have a business by the name of Itising, as well as the Pleasant Home, whereby my goal is to start my own home wear store, as well as the deco and catering store. So now, as I've started, I didn't have funds. I decided to go find myself a job. So as I think I'm not sure what is going on, Honorable. Should I continue?
Honorable members, can you please mute your mics? Honorable members, kindly mute your mics. You may continue. You're only left with few seconds.
Should I continue?
Yes, you can continue, honorable member.
Okay, I was still saying, I personally, I have a business. My business, the other one is Itising. The other one is the Pleasant Home .co.za. So I wanted to accumulate funds. I was working in Vodacom, so I was retrenched in 2016. And currently, because I wanted to accumulate funds to start my own businesses, I started to work in Heidelberg Mall at Vodacom again. They hired me so that I can accumulate funds.
Honorable member, as you wrap up. Honorable member, as you wrap up.
Okay. So as I started my own businesses, I was retrenched. I started working, but because of looting, I was retrenched. So I'm saying to all those who are looting, can you kindly stop, even as you are in this group? If you know women who are doing that and kids, ask them to stop. Thank you very much, honorable members and honorable chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you, honorable member. Thank you so much. That was Honorable Anne Mbamba. I'm going to give each and every speaker 3 minutes to give us the side of the stories, because I think we're now moving to 6 to 7 minutes. Honorable members, allow me to call Honorable Anne Mahlakwani. Honorable Anne Mahlakwani, kindly take us through.
Okay, thank you, Chairperson. Am I audible? Am I audible, Chairperson?
Yes,
you are.
Okay, thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Chairperson. It's still morning. Good morning, MEC, the Speaker, all protocol observed. Honorables, this is Sergeant Nombulelo Moshakwana from Sidibeng. So Gauteng can never be Gauteng without us, Sidibeng. That's where you get water from. Thank you. The looting and destruction of public property has impacted very badly, especially to all women, like we are talking about. And in the security department, the SAPS and the SNDF had to change their working routine from 12-hour shift to introduce everybody with the immediate effect. And then if you, it impacted from the security department badly, because on the 13th of July, we had to work 12-hour shift, and then we were grouped into 2 groups. The others were working at night, the others were working during the day. And remember, there were women working there. So if you are a woman and you had to work every day at night, you cannot have time to be with your family. Or if you're working during the day, every day, when you arrive at home, you are tired, you can't do anything. So these women, they were not even given the chance, because the president spoke on the 12th of July. And then on the 13th, we're not given a chance to make the provisions for our families to be taken care of. We just have to drop everything as it is and go ahead and work. And because the police were overwhelmed with their workload, which in protecting the properties, and at the same time, the very same police officers were thrown by the stones by the community, whom they were trying to protect their lives and to protect their properties as well. And that has impacted so much in the emotional of the security people. And then the other thing is, after all the looting has happened, we had to go back and collect the looted items from the families, from the people that have looted. I remember the other day when I went to fetch, when we were searching, we were going to house, I found the groceries, I found clothes of the kids, the age 7, 5, and 2 years, and it was a single woman. And she looted clothes for the kids. She looted groceries for the kids, which means there's a poverty there, there's something there. And being the police officer, you must take all of that. So you can imagine when you arrive at home and you look at your kids and you remember that you just took clothes and groceries from other kids. It's like you are taking food from their mouth, you are taking clothes from their bodies, and yet they were stolen. I mean, they were looted, they were not bought properly. So that has also an impact to us as security members. And then the other thing of the looting that has impacted, like the other spokesperson have said, the MEC has also charged about that. The normal people, the needy people who are trying to get a living, selling there by the malls. Remember, these people, they were affected by the COVID last year. The levels, the malls were closed and everything. There was only certain restrictions which were allowed. So they couldn't sell in the street. So now when everything started to settle and they try to be on their feet selling, and then there's looting again, and there are things that were also looted. And now when they have to go and get something from the government, they are going to be needed certain proof that they must prove that they were selling, they must prove that this has happened to them. So which means they are down forever. It's going to take them time to be up again on their feet. And remember, their mouths which are looking at them, they're saying, we are to school, we need to be clothed. And at this time they can't. That is my
Honorable
take.
member, as we wrap up.
Yes, I'm already done. Thank you, Chairperson.
I'm very much time conscious.
Especially when you come to Sergeant Mshaka. Thank you, Chairperson.
my apologies.
No, it's fine.
It's fine. Honorable members, allow me to call Honorable D. Molakeng. Honorable D. Molakeng, kindly take us through. Honorable D. Molakeng. Is Honorable D. Molakeng present?
Thank you, Speaker. The platform keeps on disconnecting me. Now I'm fine.
You can go.
I would like to thank the opportunity. As my commission members have already presented their speeches, I'm just here to recommend solutions to the problem of to the issue of looting and the destruction of property. Point number one that I will make a submission, it's the redistribution of economic wealth, so that it can benefit women in their majority. As the commission members have alluded that a majority of women are house-headed, and then even the informal settlement, even the informal businesses are majority run by women. So redistribution of economic wealth will benefit even those women, as they head majority of families. So it will be in favor to women. Secondary to that, it is the issue of land. It goes back to the section 25 of the Constitution that as the Gauteng legislature needs to support the amendment of Section 25 so that the distribution of land can be taken back to the natives, and women in the majority should be considered as part of the beneficiaries of the land, because women, as they show their potential to head many families, that means women have the full potential to work the land, and land on its own, its wealth. And it goes, another submission that I would like to make is the issue of FAMSA. As the Gauteng Health Department is taking some of the services to the people, I think part of that services, it should be FAMSA. Like, many women need counseling, and most especially after the looting, that we take services to the people and make easier access for them to access such services. And yet again, it goes to education. We need to educate. Community education is very important when it comes to destruction of property. When we educate women, we educate a nation, as it says. So in regards to the destruction of property, I think we should take it back to the schools, high schools, and in various platforms that used to be there before, that were educating communities so that they can be conscientized in terms of the destruction of property. And the other issue again is that, wait. I think, Madam Speaker, I will end there for now as part of the resolutions and the submission. But predominantly, I wanted to preempt on the issue of the economic wealth and land, to say they are more important and they will co-opt women. And going forward, education to young girls, knowing that growing up to be independent is also important. Thank you.
Honorable members, honorable members, it's now open time for debate. As I've indicated
Chair.
earlier, all right.
Speaker, I was off for a while. The live streaming had failed on my side. I just wanted to know, had you called my name as the chair of the commission?
No, I didn't. I didn't, honorable. I didn't. I now call for open time for debates. I'm going to allow only 4 participants to speak to the debates. And please note that only 4 people will be allowed to speak. Honorable members. And kindly know that all participants who are on the speaking list are not allowed to speak during this open time. Honorable members.
Honorable Speaker, I don't see any hands on the platform. I think we can proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. We can now proceed. I've heard so many issues that has been raised by the Commission 1. Issues of looting has affected so many families, especially in terms of creation of unemployment and hunger. In that regard, allow me to call Honorable Member P. Morobe to reply to the debate, and please move for the adoption of the Commission's report.
Thank you, Chair. Our plea to the government is that we should be prioritized as women in all business sectors, irrespective of our business levels. We all need assistance in terms of lenience on compliance of documents. Show me how instead of closing the door on me. The Gauteng provincial legislature should have a follow-up strategy on these recommendations so that we don't treat this platform as a talk show. Gauteng provincial should prioritize payments towards women-owned businesses. This is based on any business done with the Gauteng province. Insurance companies should also come on board and assist us as women. My business was affected for a week, but they didn't even call me to say, do something for yourself. Nothing like that was done. Private companies that claim to assist women should be regulated to check if that in fact that is accurate that they're helping women. There should be also a base standard of what the definition of assisting a woman is. We don't want to walk around in pink shirt once a year, run around and say that they're helping women. In closing, Chair, skills development training should not only be 18 to 35. The age group should be expanded beyond the group. Give women above the age of 35 an advantage to be upskilled. They also want to own properties, drive Benz, Jeeps, and Land Cruisers. And with all that said, Chair, in closing, I, Honorable Lerato Priscilla Morobe, Chairperson of Looting and Destruction of Public Infrastructure, hereby adopt the Commission report in terms of Rule 117 and 164, taking into account all the contributions made. Thank you.
I've heard Honorable Morobe say that women wants to see themselves driving the cruise. Allow me now to call for a seconder. Any seconder? Any seconder?
I second it, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I now put the question, all those in favor say yes?
Yes.
All those not in favor say no? The yes have it, the report is adopted. Kindly hand the resolution of the debate on looting and the destruction of public property.
Speaker, they'll be handed over via email. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Thank you, Honorable Chair. I now declare the debate looting and destruction of public property closed. Honorable members, I would like to call the Secretary, please read the second order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Please read the second order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Debate on COVID-19 vaccination, attitude, stigma, and perception. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I now call Honorable A. Hobbs, the chairperson of this commission, to present the commission report. Honorable Hobbs. Honorable Hobbs, the chairperson of this commission, to present the commission's report. Is Honorable Hobbs present? Honorable Chair, assist me that side. Is Honorable Hobbs present?
I can't see her, but I would suggest that the technical team check with her. She might actually also be experiencing challenges with the microphone, because this seems to be a common challenge to most of the participants. So if the technical team can just quickly liaise with Honorable Hobbs. Thank you.
Honorable members, let's just give Honorable Hobbs a few minutes. Maybe will be joining us very soon.
Or alternatively, if any of the members have got the commission's report with her, she can read it through on behalf of the Honorable Chairperson, and the Honorable Chairperson hopes will come in at the end to table the recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable members for Commission 2, anyone to take us through?
Greetings, Honorable Chair. This is Nomfundo Ngwabe from the Second Order. Our Honorable Chair, Hobbs, is actually online and she'll be ready to speak just now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Thank you.
I'm here. I don't know what happened. That's technology.
Kindly take us through, Honorable Member.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and good afternoon to you, Honorable Refilwe Kekana, members of the Provincial Legislature, Honorable Speaker Memekwe, the MEC for Community Safety, Honorable Mazibuko, our coordinator, Honorable Jimisani Mtunga, and the Speaker of this Parliament for Women, Memeisi Mutaum, and my fellow honorable members of 2021 Women's Parliament in Gauteng Provincial Legislature, and above all, the community of Gauteng. I am Apostle Aria Mogo Hobbs of Foundation of Truth Ministries in Kagiso. I'm also the president and founder of Dunamis Women of Prayer in Kagiso, although we have women in other provinces. I'm going to speak on or chair the commission assessing women's perceptions and attitudes towards COVID-19 vaccination. Let me introduce by saying that, give an introduction and background. COVID-19 vaccine is intended to provide acquired immunity against severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus. This virus actually causes coronavirus. It causes the disease called coronavirus. And prior to COVID-19 pandemic, the body of knowledge existed, which accelerated to the extent of developing various vaccines in various places in the year 2020. And this is known that COVID-19 vaccine is accredited or is credited for its role in reducing the spread, in reducing the severity, in reducing the death that is caused by this COVID-19. We've got quite a number of people that have had various types of vaccines. In South Africa, people have had Pfizer, people have had Johnson & Johnson vaccine. And there is quite, since the report that I have is by the 15th of August this year, the National Department of Health actually gave us the statistics such as 9.2 million people that have been vaccinated, and 2 million of our people have received Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and the Pfizer is 7.2 million. So in other words, we haven't reached the number that can actually prevent us from actually having, going without masks like other countries are doing right now. That is why we're having this commission to say to people, let us have our vaccine, that we can go back and live our normal lives, that we can enjoy our family unions, that we can go back and our children go to school without fear of anything, going to work in taxis without fearing your neighbor, hugging one another, especially us as Christian people. We hug one another to give people, to show love for one another. The challenges that we have in terms of vaccination is that there are so many myths. There are so many conspiracy theories. Men are saying women vaccinated infect them with COVID-19. Women have perceptions and attitudes that they might be infertile after 2 years of being vaccinated. And also people after being vaccinated, you see them putting a coin on the vaccinated side and claiming that there is a magnet underneath their skins which keeps that coin to be there. That is a myth. I, for one, I've had even my second dose. I tried doing that in the house, putting that, and I failed to put a coin on my arm. So it is a myth, it is a conspiracy theory to prevent people from going to get their lives back from the claws of the evil one called coronavirus. There is also a conspiracy theory that there is a microchip inserted. When vaccinated, people can get 666 as indicated in the book of Revelation in the Bible. There is, denial that COVID-19 is real, that it is just a demonic spirit. A lot of white people say that vaccination is a demonic, a form of way that, people can acquire 666. I've got a friend of mine that is at the vaccination site in Yusuf Dadoo Hospital. She gave me this information to say that there was a man that came through, a white man, and this white man, she asked this white man, where is your wife? And the man said that, our women are saying that, this vaccination is demonic, will end up with 666. So what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, the domestic worker who has got, who also has got problems as well, whereby the working hours do not allow her to go and vaccinate. And these are done purposely to prevent them from going to vaccinate. We still are having our women that do sleepover works or work unholy hours without taking day off. And they cannot be able to access the vaccination sites. Cultural beliefs as well, where the men are heads of household. They say no to vaccination and it should be applicable to everybody in the household. One of my friends in Albertine Civic Center was saying that to me, that when she asked what is happening and to our women, they say You know, our men are household heads, and they say that we cannot do that. Others are saying, whose lives are we saving anyway? And also there is fear of the unknown. Those are challenges that we find. And another thing is that people are claiming that there is death due to vaccination, especially people that die at home, where the mortuaries cannot perform autopsies to verify that this person is because of the vaccination, the virus that is in her body. Also, people are claiming that facilities are inaccessible to them because of transport problems. They've got to walk long distances, especially in rural areas. There's also peer group pressure, especially amongst the young ones, that says they are waiting their peers to vaccinate and to see what happens to them. They also believe that vaccination is unnecessary at their age. There is also gender-based violence, whereby husbands or partners threaten their wives, saying that if they are inoculated, at the end of the day, they are carriers of the virus and they will infect them. There is social media that is actually very viral. We find that there is a video that goes around about in terms of International Barcode of Life. They say there is a satanic organization working with Bill Gates to corrupt the DNA through the vaccine and to put a microchip in your body so that they can monitor every move that you make. And they work tirelessly to perfect and implement the mark of the beast, you know, in order to control the total control of humanity. So I believe these are the challenges that we find. The solutions I can, as in terms of our commission, we looked at increasing vaccination centers, especially in rural areas and the townships, making them accessible. Also, roping in the trade unions to ensure that labor legislations are implemented, such as basic conditions of employment, the Labor Relations Act, and see to it that those employers who refuse their workers, especially the domestic workers, they are brought to book. And I believe that also.
As you wrap up, honorable member.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. Empowerment of women, awareness campaign, which is at the top of it all. And this should include the white women, it should include the youth, it should include the church leaders as well, especially the female church leaders, because we are being put aside. And this happened, I believe that, you know, in March 2020, when His Excellency, the President of the country, consulted with the religious bodies, he selected male pastors to say that they are the ones that could be involved even in that press conference to lead in this whole thing as on behalf of the religious bodies. But women who you know came up with good inputs, they were neglected. They have never been included
As you
in
wrap
some,
up, honorable member, as you wrap up.
And what I can say right now is that let us design awareness campaign pamphlets and that should be distributed to various communities. And this includes the information such as fake news and misinformation, and where we can report such myths or source of information, and find out global information on vaccine safety as well. Get detailed information on the pandemic itself. Get updates on official stats on vaccination rollouts and all that. I think also another important thing we should have the questionnaire that looks at the age of people, the gender, the address of where people live, number of people in the household, how many have been vaccinated, reasons for not vaccination, any contact person infected with contact with people infected with COVID-19. Lastly, I must say that it is imperative that we should go back to basics, whereby people are actually, they are being tested for COVID-19 before being vaccinated instead of screening. I believe that screening is not sufficient. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Honorable Hobbs. I know when we are in one room, especially we women, we become more comfortable, but please let us try to be brief and short. I'm going to give the following speakers only 3 minutes to share their thoughts with us. Allow me to call me Honorable G. More. Honorable G. More, kindly take us through. Thank you. Honorable More. Honorable More. Honorable Chair, can you please assist? Honorable More.
Yeah, if Honorable More is not here, there you can move to the next speaker on the list, and then when she's back on, she can speak.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Allow me to call Honorable E. Kumalo. Honorable E. Kumalo, you can take us through.
Greetings. With the protocol observed, this is Empress Busi Kumalo from Joburg region. So on what Honorable Hobbs has said, I'm just going to add a few key pointers on the vaccinations and the ones that do not want to be vaccinated, because at the end of the day, one has the right to choose whether they want to be vaccinated or they do not want to be vaccinated. And early this year, when President Cyril Ramaphosa did say that vaccination is voluntarily, so with the media and the TV and the news, that people go and get vaccinated and they tell everybody that I'm vaccinated. The last I checked, having done a health check is between you and your doctor, not to be expressed to the world. So coming to the part where we'd love to also have had the Human Rights Commission here with us, so that if our government has come to the point where we are forced to take the vaccinations, where are the human rights? Because at the end of the day, we find that some human rights are being violated, and disallowing of freedom of thoughts and movement to which all humans legally have rights. What individuals can violate these rights, the leadership or government of the civilization, most often belittled my marginalized people. The rights to life and the liberty, freedom from slavery and torture, freedom of opinion and expression, the right to work and education. Everybody is entitled to these rights without being discriminated. So even today on the news, it was like the civil servants, which are the teachers, that don't want to be vaccinated. They're going to be forced either to take the vaccination or to lose their job. We are facing currently a country where unemployment is at the peak of the economy, and yet we are being forced to go and take a vaccination or you lose your job. How is that going to assist the society in which we are living in right now? People, women, especially women, will be faced in losing jobs, in which that salary that they are getting, they're not only feeding one family. It's a great environment. It's a great family that one woman is feeding. So we are asking and pleading with this commission as we go forth. Can we have more? As I wrap up, we're asking that can we have clear information coming down from the health workers that this is why you need to be vaccinated, and those who do not want to be vaccinated, let it not be a stigma that's attached to everybody, because at the end of the day, it's one's choice, one's right to do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Kumalo. Honorable Kumalo has just said it. It is your choice. It is your right for you to vaccinate. Honorable members, I've said that I'm very much time conscious. Is Honorable Jim Moray present? Honorable Jim Moray? Is Honorable Jim Moray present? If she's not yet there, can I please call Honorable G. Mwabe? Honorable Mwabe, can you please take us through? Honorable Mwabe, please take us through.
Greetings, Honorable Chair. I am a woman. I'm a survivor of the COVID-19 virus. I was admitted in hospital and I shared a ward with my mother. Watching my children as I leave the house is a definite factor that will make one want to go and vaccinate. There are so many factors in our society that play a vital impact on how we handle and treat this pandemic. The stigma, and in the health context, is the negative association of people and how they get to stereotype people of a certain disease plays a vital role. The level of stigma associated with the COVID-19 is based on three factors. One being that this disease is very much unknown, that we are very much often afraid of the unknown, and then this is associated with fear. So the question is, why are people scared to vaccinate? If a vaccine is supposed to be safe and effective, and it's a simple way of protecting yourself against harmful diseases, like we've been doing ever since we were very young. Well, there's been myths and perceptions and misunderstanding about what vaccines are all about. However, as been highlighted and alluded by my previous speakers, I will not go into in-depth about them. However, what we can take into consideration is the fact that successfully in Gauteng, we are playing a very vital role in getting our people vaccinated. Currently, within the demographics and the age groupings of all the vaccinations that have taken place, so far we have 55% of female vaccinated and 45% of male vaccinated. And the age group of 20 to 39-year-old take the highest markings, with the females at 18.35 and the males at 14.81. However, this is not just figures that are out there. We are faced with a couple of challenges. And these challenges mainly being unutilized healthcare facilities. And this is mainly in Ekurhuleni, in the region where I come from. We have densely populated wards, such as in the northern part of Ekurhuleni. The distances that people need to walk to get to the vaccination site plays a vital role as to why people are not being vaccinated. The inequality of access creates further chances of this virus being spreading, or alternatively, different variants developing. We are currently not meeting the daily targets of vaccination due to these mentioned factors. However, I must commend the Ekurhuleni Health District Services for being able to reach out to the Makakula Heights in Katlehong yesterday. And they were able to go and vaccinate people. So, however, going forward, what I could suggest is that maybe we need a bit more pop-up vaccination sites. We need to open up a lot more of these health facilities and also try and use our SASSA sites as places for vaccinations. Because if we want to be a community that goes out there and lives our lives like we used to do, then it's only best that we go out and vaccinate and play the part and be a proudly South African nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Thank you, Honorable Member. I just want to check again, is Honorable Jim Moray present? Is Honorable Moray present? If she's not present, can I please call Honorable Ramotibe? Honorable N. Ramotibe, can you please take us through? Honorable N. Ramotibe.
Greeting, honorable members, all protocol observed. Oh, mama, base South Africa. Azange banike ilunge, azange banikwe isikhathi ukuthi bacabange kahle ngevaccine. Yes. Oh, mama, bebethukile because of COVID. Beluze imindeni yabo. Then the government was trying to speed up the process of the vaccine. Oh, mama, basemaphandleni. Baze lephi ukuthi there's this vaccine. Sikhumbule ukuthi, like where I'm coming from Lesedi local municipality. Our municipality, we are having a part where their farms. Oh, labo bantu sifinyelela kanjani kubo? Yes, through social media, but are they active now with social media? No. Then we need to engage with those people. We need to visit those areas, doing door to door, to encourage, to tell them about the vaccine and what is importance of nokubaluleka ukuthi kungani kumele si vaccinate. Then another thing, then I guess the committee that is working with the vaccine. I guess sibheke indawo lapho ku-vaccinatela khona ukuthi are those places conducive and the privacy of people that are coming to the site. Abanye omama inkolo yabo akayibavumeli ukuthi bangakhumula phambi kwabantu besilisa because other sites are not conducive, even the privacy is not there. I encourage our superiors, please do make time and visit those sites. Yebo bomama yilungelo lethu ukugoma. Uma kugome thina bomama sibuyela emakhaya siyokhuthaza nalabo ebekade bengakholelwa ukuthi this vaccine is really working. Ngiyabonga.
Simple and short. Simple and short, honorable member. Let me call again Honorable Jean More if she's present. Honorable More. In this issue of vaccine, there's a lot of issues that have arisen, a lot of issues, the myth, the 666 issues, the GBV, the coin that they say you put it on the vaccinated side. There's a lot to discuss. Honorable members, I now call for opening time and will only allow 4 participants to speak to the debate. Also note that participants who are on the speaking list will not be allowed to speak during open time. Also, do not forget to mention your name and Rule 77.7. Thank you. I've seen so many hands. I think the first one was Portia Serote. Honorable Portia Serote, my apologies. Honorable Portia Serote.
Yes. Good day, my honorables. I'll just go straight to the point. I would want us to look at the facts, and that will inform the interventions that we would do. Research is very important. Research all the time. Because on everything that has been mentioned, our interventions might not be informed. One, there is a research by hesitancy study. That research, it is clear that people are no longer having issues around conspiracy theories. I wish we can find that before we can inform our challenges. So my plea unto vaccinations, yes, it is important we need to vaccinate. We need not to drive people to vaccinate by threatening them. We need not to call people to vaccinate because of certain issues. People are thinking and are reasoning, and they will take whatever that they are taking. What is important moving forward is education, 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 education. Because the study has shown that it is only 29% of awareness that is done in the country. So if that is the thing, it therefore means in terms of education, we haven't done much. One of the honorables made mention that the virus is novel. So there are changes all the time. So education needs to change with the changes, because today we say this, tomorrow we say that. That is why there is mismessages and there is mistrust. That is one in terms of education. In terms of gender-based violence, research again has proved that most men that are violating their partner's rights, it is due to feeling that they are not equal. I'm not saying it is wrong to look at the benefits of benefiting women because they have been oppressed for a very long time. But really, a man of my age has never benefited anything. We're just using history, our father's father who benefited more. If 77% of men are on economic stability and less is on women, who are those men? Let us start looking at those who are abusing women. Let us start looking at the age of 30 to the age of 50. This man, one, went to university for a very long time, starting from scratch, without a loan, without anything, because prior, where we are today, there was no free bursary. You needed to have a house of your own so that you can sell before you can get a loan or what's or not. Or if you fail to pay, they can take the car or the house. So those people, they've struggled. One have spent 10 years in varsity trying to be in a market space. As to wrap up, honorable member, what I'm saying is, let us be fair and make sure that as much as we are empowering, our interventions are failing. What is the root cause? There hasn't been much studies that has been done on why our men in South Africa are abusing women. All our we empower women, but who is preparing those men to deal with the empowered women? I will close it at there. Thank you, Honorable. Thank you, Honorable Portia. I could hear that. Can we please have another participants, those who would love to share their views in terms of the commission that has just passed? Is there anyone who has any input?
Yes.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Please introduce yourself. Rule 77.7.
Good day, Honorable Speaker. Good day, Honorable Members of the House. My name is Mpone Mwekezi from Ekurhuleni. I have said this previously, that for most of us, the COVID-19, it is no longer about isolation and quarantine, but what is dividing us now is the vaccination. Just on that, I would like to read this from somebody who is vaccinated. I took it from social media and I do not know who the person is. And it reads thus: I am vaccinated, and no, I don't know what's in it. Neither this vaccine, the ones that I had as a child, nor in the Big Mac or in the Nando sauce or in other treatment, whether it's for cancer, it's for HIV/AIDS, the one for arthritis, or vaccines for infants or children. I trust my doctor when she says it is needed. I also don't know what's in the ibuprofen. I don't know what's in the aspirin. I know that it cures my headache and it cures my pain. I don't know what's in 100% orange juice or my soap or shampoo or even deodorant. I don't know the long-term effects of cell phone use or whether or not that restaurant I just ate at really used clean foods and washed their hands. In short, there is a lot of things that all of us do not know and that we will never know. I just know one thing: life is short and very short, and I still want to do something other than just staying locked in my house. I still want to travel. I want to hug people without fear, and I find a little feeling of life like before. As a child and as an adult, I've been vaccinated for mumps and measles, rubella, polio, chickenpox, and quite a few others. My parents and I trusted the science and never had to suffer through or transmit any of said diseases.
As to wrap up, Honorable Member?
Yes. I'm vaccinated not to please the government, but not to die from COVID-19, not to clutter the hospital bed if I'm sick, to hug my loved ones, to make sure that I go out dancing, go on holiday, and do the things that I love, to live my life to the fullest, for COVID-19 to be an old memory and to protect those that we love. Let it not be that the vaccine divide us, but let us always show love and respect, whether vaccinated or not. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mwekezi. Thank you, Honorable Mwekezi. Can I please have another hand, if there is any? Honorable members? Any hand, if there's any?
There's a hand for Honorable, I don't know, T. It's just captured as T. The hand is up. You can recognize it.
Honorable T, can please take us through?
Honorable T, kindly take us through. Honorable Chair, I think we've lost Honorable T.
Okay, yeah, we can proceed then.
Allow me to proceed. Any hand again before I proceed? Any hand before I proceed? Thank you, honorable members. I've had so many inputs, especially more like a ring pizza ho fetlwa e belang ka leleme la Setswana. We've had so many comments. Honorable Pushas wanted to talk about the research, education, of which is the key. Honorable Mpume Mokete talk about that life is too short, but she don't want to die because of COVID. The importance of taking vaccine, and even the commissions, what they've already said. They say taking a vaccine is a choice. You need not to be forced to take vaccine. And I've indicated earlier that there's a myth that was running all over saying that if you put a coin on the vaccinated side, it's not gonna fall. Honorable members, allow me to call Honorable AHOPS to reply to the debate and move to adoption of the Commission's report. Honorable Hobbs. Honorable Hobbs, kindly respond.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, Honorable Chairperson. Once more again, in conclusion, it is evident that the input made by all of us honorable members of this order, that we have problems and impediments as women in terms of COVID-19 vaccination. It is imperative and a matter of urgency that interventions are employed. At the top of these intervention measures is awareness campaigns in order to provide our people, especially women who are at the receiving end, with the necessary information. There's also a dire need for COVID-19 testing instead of screening at the vaccination sites before vaccination. More vaccination sites that are accessible, such as SASA places, the malls, etc., etc. Conducive vaccination sites where women are provided privacy. More information, which should vary according to COVID-19 variants that we get, especially from our health workers, and use of door-to-door to reach out to all women, not just depending on social media, on the TV, especially in rural areas and the townships. In educating our people about COVID-19, we should include that much as we do not know what's in the vaccine taken by our children, by the food that we eat, by the cool drinks that we drink, etc., etc. Let us include that in our awareness campaigns information. Counseling for women before vaccination because of what they're subjected to. It is imperative. Human rights for freedom of choice also should actually be vocal, should be before being vaccinated, for people to have the choice to be vaccinated. As South Africans, we have human rights. I believe that together as women, united, holding each other's hands, irrespective of color, creed, race, educational background, social status, etc., we can overcome, we can win the nation of South Africa. Moreover, as women leaders in the church who are skilled in wailing and crying unto God according to Jeremiah 9:17, we can be called more than conquerors according to the word of God in Romans chapter 8, verses 37. I therefore, as Honorable A. Hobbs, the chairperson of Commission on COVID-19 Vaccination, Stigmas, Attitudes and Perceptions, hereby adopt Commission report in terms of Rule 117 and 164, taking into account all the contributions that have been made. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Hobbs. I now call for a seconder. Any seconder?
Seconded.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I now put the question. All those in favor say yes.
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 All those not in favor say no. The yes have it. The report is adopted. Honorable members, allow me to proceed. I think Iabela pizza. It moves very fast, but let us not forget and be more time conscious. Kindly hand the resolution to the Commission on debate on COVID-19, attitude, stigma, and just a minute. I think I'm busy making mistake. Just a minute. Yes, I think I'm on it. Can you please have the secretary to read the third order?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Debate on gender-based violence. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
My honorable member, I think I've jumped other issues. Kindly forgive me. My apologies. Let me go back. Kindly hand the resolution to the Commission on debate on COVID-19 vaccination, attitudes, stigma, and perception of women. Hence, they've said that it will be sent by email. I agree with that. I now declare the debate on COVID-19 vaccination, attitudes, stigma, and perception of women closed. Now allow me to call the secretary to please read the third order. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Debate on gender-based violence. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
And I call on Honorable M. Khololo, the chairperson of this commission, to present the commission's report. Honorable M. Khololo, the chairperson of this commission, to present.
Okay, thank you so much, Honorable. I just want to observe the protocol of all the leaders represented in this debate. I am Honorable Mamura Khololo, the chairperson of the Gender-Based Violence Commission. Okay. I just want to thank the team that you've been working with for all the inputs that they gave us. I am supposed yeah, there is disturbance.
Yeah, Administrator, can you please mute ST? I think he's disturbing the meeting. Please mute ST for us.
Okay, thank you so much. I am the member of the faith-based organization in the province, the executive, and also the founder of the Naomi Widow Forum. I think gender-based violence is, for now, like a general knowledge. Everyone knows about it, even though we still do not understand why is it going on so much. As we explain what is gender-based violence, obviously, like I said, it's a general knowledge, but for the sake of presentation, I'll say it's a harmful act directed at an individual based on their gender. And at this point in time, we're talking about gender-based violence and the women. Now, this morning, I was a bit disturbed when I spoke to my son. I said to him, because we also need to be speaking to our sons, because we know very well that gender-based violence mostly is men killing women. He says to me, Mom, if you speak again to me about gender-based violence, every year you ask me the same question, and we're not seeing anything happening. You know, you talk. He says to me, I'm from the private sector, where we talk. When we say 1 + 1, it must be 2. we shouldn't say before we get to 1 plus 1, we separate 2, we say 2 minus 1. He says that's exactly what we are doing in terms of gender-based violence. We're just going around circles, but we're not really touching on the real issue. And then we say again, gender-based violence is a crime of passion. I think my team, they're going to explain. It's a crime of passion when two people that love each other, and then when things go wrong and then they start killing each other. And it's also pure criminology. You know, I've been watching one of the soapies of Mzansi in Hong Kong, where there is a brothel, where you see how the kids that have been trafficked, the kids that have been kidnapped, the girls, how the blessers are dealing with them. So when the deal goes wrong, then they're being killed and they're being thrown on the street, and nobody knows what happened because these kids do not have names. The kids that stays under the bridges, the girls that are being used by the drug, those that are selling drugs and whatever, those kids don't have names, and many times we find them on the street. Now the question is, are we really accessible to those kind of places like brothels, like where, you know, for the sake of, let me talk about prostitution, are we accessible? Because when you go and speak to these girls, they tell you that, okay, it's fine, you can come to me and say it's wrong that I'm on the street, but when I live here and go back to this guy that is using me, at least he gives me something to eat, something to say. So those are pure criminologies. And then one person also once spoke about, when we deal with gender-based violence, let's deal with a human being, because that's another issue. When you look at the concept document that has been prepared by the legislative team, they speak about the victim and the perpetrator when they are already at the point of going to court, going to police station to report. But we're not addressing the real household. What is happening in the house? You know, yaka ke le moruti, go na le scripture mo Bibeleng se se bolelang ka basadi ba babedi ba kileng ba ba le bana. Ne go na le kgotso ga le bana ba bona ba phela. Mara e rile ha ngwana o one a fetsa go tlhokofala ke mo mathata a ile a simolla ene Kgosi Solomon a tla ka botlhale. Now motho o bolayang motho o mong a mo kgaole maoto, a mo kgaole matswele, ke motho o shwetseng ke ngwana, ke motho o shweleng ka mogare. Ga re bolela ka motho re bua ka ntho tse tharo. Re bua ka the spirit, the soul, and the body. And these people literally that are killing, I'm not really condoning, but have we ever sat down, le batho ba re ditse le bona ka mogare ga matlo, re check ngwana o shweleng ka mogare, re dile le ene. You know, ga re dila ka bo gender-based violence, a re dile le yona holistically. Se ra sheba fela economically, se ra sheba fela physically. A re shebeng also spiritually, emotionally. Are we having those people that we are bringing in to deal with those kind of things? So in our concept document, you know, one of the questions that is being asked is, are the very women knows where to go? Do they know about the program? Sometimes we can say yes, they know, yes, they don't know, or they know. Thank you so much. Now, as I wrap up, may I speak also to the men out there? You know, somebody said, women always know a woman that is being raped. But why men don't know of rapists in their areas? Because if men can know of the rapists, they'll be able to deal with them accordingly. So when we conclude and talk of the root cause and the strategies, we need to use the root cause analysis, the who, the why, the where, the how, which, you know, let's use those kind of things. Let's have monitoring systems, because those are some of the things. Every year this time we talk about it. Do we come back again and say, these are the data? Do we have people that goes out and bring the data together, and then so that we can be able to have proper strategies when we are dealing with this rapist, when we are dealing with this murderer, and check what is going through in their head. May I pause there? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable. Thank you, Honorable Mkhololo. She touches the most important thing, that why our men don't know the rapist, of which is very much important. Allow me to call honorable speakers. Allow me to call Honorable T. Nyoni to take us through from the same commission. Honorable Tignoni, please take us through from the same commission.
Good afternoon, honorable members, all protocol observed. My job is to do the recommendations for the gender-based violence scourge. Our chairperson, Mama Khololo, Honorable Mama Khololo, just touched on the issue of the root cause analysis, the human being. Have you started looking at the human being as to why is the domestic violence happening? In fact, she's reminded me of a scripture, Mark 5, where it talks about a woman with the issue of blood, the fact that she has gone through the help that she needed, but she could not get any help for 12 years. Now coming back to the issue of gender-based violence in South Africa and around the world, has it helped us? Have we found solutions as far as it is concerned? The recommendations that... Hello? Can I speak?
You can go ahead, honorable member.
The recommendations that are jotted down here are based on the fact that it has to be a roundup, a multifaceted a multifaceted gender-based violence intervention strategy. What do I mean by that? Yes, Mama Khololo has said men. We zero it into both men and women, all these strategies, and we call on all the resources that we have of the professionals that will help to curb or to stop this the challenge of gender-based violence. For example, we have resources, or we have police people, we have the judicial system, we have the organizations, NGOs that are operational in South Africa, but they are segmented. But in this case, you would want to have a one-stop shop. A one-stop shop where you find ama dimensions, or you find ama sectors within the one-stop shop. Imagine a house or an office where you go into uthola iroom lama social workers, the first dimension, social workers and psychologists, where they receive a person, or whether we are being raped or just experienced domestic violence. That experience is traumatic. I was raped, mina personally, and after the rape, you wouldn't want, it's a trauma, you need trauma debriefing, basically. And you would need resources where you need to cancel immediately, where we are normalized or we back to your senses in a way. Then you also need, the social workers also have to do, or the psychologists, they have to give you information. I'm a social worker, by the way, on the shelters that are available. I was a social worker. I'm a strategist now. They also need to be available continuously, so for the psychological and social wellness of you as a human being. Then the another dimension is that the police sector, in the same house, on same office, you need to go to that office, same house or office, in that state. I remember when I was a social worker, when I was dealing with issues of domestic violence years back, you'll realize that some people report rape cases after 3 days where the evidence is not there, but and the statement is fragmented. So you still need people there in putting the statement together. So in that section, the office of police, you only need police who are trained specifically in the issue of domestic violence. And they are funny, like a police station like Orlando, where it's open and everybody it's just open, but you it's specifically for domestic violence, it's specifically for gender-based violence. Let me just move quickly. Then you also have the examining room where you find doctors and nurses in the same center. The nurses where they would take evidence, doctors. One of the recommendations, or one of the commission speakers in our group last time, they were talking about forensic, how these DNA tests get to be lost. So in that sector, or in that office, all that information will be kept safe. Then we have another office within the same part where is legal and judiciary, where you find lawyers and prosecutors, in fact the legal team, where they will help you to files, they are kept there. What do I call? You also access legal advice. You want to know what happens if after this, what needs to happen if the case goes to court. I don't want to go to that dimension right now. My time is only it's limited. Then we also need to talk about the office where there's healing, development, and training. That here, people need to pretend. People, you've been talking about human development, you've been talking about empowerment of both men and women, and counseling in further training in different aspects of life skills, motivation. I run a company called Uncedo Prodigy. Years back, I wrote a motivation on women come out of yourself. There's a realization that everybody has a gift.
As you wrap up, honorable member.
As I wrap up, the final two offices has to do with the soul restoration, where you need pastors and ministers, where people are being restored in their souls. And the part where people need to, domestic violence or gender-based violence has always been associated with the issue of lack of economic empowerment. So you would need an office where you find people who will help women find employment, or they get businesses. I thank you. Yes, thank you very much. This is where I finish up. Thank you, and I'm sorry for taking too much time. Yeah,
I honestly understand that gender-based violence, it is a pandemic on its own, and when we touch it, especially in terms of women, we end up being emotional and forgetting that time is on our side, is not on our side. Thank you, Honorable Nyoni. Let me call Honorable C. Sitsiba. Honorable C. Sitsiba. Honorable C. Sitsiba.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Members of the Executive Committee from the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, members of the audience taking part in this session from various platforms, I greet you all. Chairperson, the previous speakers have alluded to a number of important issues relating to gender-based violence. The challenge related to gender-based violence are mountainous, as indicated by the previous speakers. I'll advance this issue further by touching on a few challenges that relate to gender-based violence. The advancement of the internet technology results in exclusion. The IT illiteracy levels prevent women from accessing tools and resources that are meant to support them. Mangisebenza emaplazini lapha eWest Rand, I can hardly make a call mangifika laphayana ngiyosiza bomama nabantwana abahlukumezekayo. So you can imagine those women that are staying there on a daily basis by experience violence. They are still oppressed more than the women that are in other areas. We have the agency. There are a number of NPOs in our communities, but the GBV challenges are still persistent. The lack of sufficient information and visibility of awareness campaigns is an issue. There's a campaign in a particular area, but most people in that particular space are not even aware that there is such a big a program that is taking place. The issue of social relief grant of 350 is not enough. Kana re hopola hore ke bomme ba tubanang le tlala le poverty. Ke bomme ba ileng hore ba shebile malapa, these women-headed families. The justice system is still showing weaknesses in fighting GBV. That includes children's courts. Happy justice delayed is justice denied narrative remains a sore point. Kore mme o tla ya ilo reporta molato. O fumane hore khotla ya dinyewe e ntse e kgotlisetsa morao ha ngata ho fihlela ho latleha tsone di-DNA reports jwale ka ha se buisa pele se tshwaetse. O fumane hore le docket e qetella e lahlehile. Ntho eo e theosa seriti sa mme. E mme ya kotsing le ho fetisa hobane ha sa khona le ho tsamaya ayo to attend the court hobane le motho a mo tshwarisitseng ha sa mo fa le tjhelete ya ho namela. In schools or other social settings, victims are bullied or end up being bullied themselves. With that said, Honorable Chairperson, ke nyaka hore ke highlighted just a few recommendations. There's a need for a paradigm shift in how gender-based violence is viewed and addressed. We need to revisit existing measures and interventions, including the implementation of policies, programs, the functioning of courts, the safety and security institutions, and other such. We need to practicalize the implementations of programs wa tseba nako ngwe re etsa ntho e tshwanang hangata ngata o be le tautology o fumane re sa shebile hore di-outcomes tsa yone di jwang.
As you wrap up, honourable member,
Thank you, Honourable Chairperson. We need to move towards collaborative responses in order to amplify our outcomes and use multifaceted approaches and interventions. This is a very big and alternative and effective approach. Are they conducive for empowering the victims?
Yes, Your Honor.
I submit one, so thank you so much.
Jaaka ga ke buile earlier gore issue ya gender-based violence ke issue e leng gore it is really burning and it really touches lots of women, especially ga re le ka mogare ga one shelter together. Honorable Sitsiba, I'm going to call upon Honorable M. Ramotsamai. Honorable M. Ramotsamai.
Good afternoon,
Honorable.
Yes, this is Honorable Ramtamai. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay.
You can proceed.
Honorable Chair and Honorable MEC and Honorable members and Honorable stakeholders, and I greet you in the afternoon. My name is Mahadi Ramtamai. I'm a social cohesion advocate from the Department of Sports, Art and Culture, and also a chairperson in Sidibeng District with Moral Regeneration Movement. I'm going to touch in base of civil society intervention. Worldwide, an estimated 1 in 3 women will experience physical and sexual abuse in lifetime. Poor reporting of GBV cases enable perpetrators and hiders the formulation of effective policing to support the survivors and other perpetrators. As part of all efforts to intervene in these issues, GPL and Moral Regeneration Movement and other NGOs and stakeholders, can they please design and implement a 4-year or 5-year plan intervention with support from the government, funding justice for all programs with the all aim of reducing prevalence through increasing reporting of gender-based violence incidents and supporting also the survivors. The intervention concerned with the community survey to map the prevalence of gender-based violence in the communities and also identify the key areas of actions. Then I've stimulated 6 actions that can help in enabling the gender-based violence: funding women fully participation in civil society, scaling the efforts for addressing inequality gender power relations, providing gender-based clinic services in lower levels health facilities, addressing the needs of children survivors, developing a practical guidance for building a whole system, developing the support system for professionals with various trauma. In closing, intervention, mostly highly intervention with national commitments to all the departments with government as well. Also securing community ownership for the GBV intervention. Build a GBV community of practice. I submit. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Ramotsamai. Thank you, Honorable Mahadi Ramotsamai. Allow me to call Honorable B. Ngomani. Ngoman, I think time is no longer on our side. Let's try to respect time, honorable members. Honorable B. Ngomani. Honorable Ngomani. Honorable Ngomani.
I've not seen him.
Is Honorable Ngomani present? If not, through you, Chair, can I please proceed?
Yes, Honorable Speaker, you can.
Honorable Chair, thank you, through you. I will now go to time whereby we're going to open for debate. I now call for open time, and I will only allow for participants to speak to the debates. Also note that participants who are on the speaking list will not be able to speak during open time. Also, do not forget to mention your name and Rule 77.7. I thank you. Any participants to give input in terms of gender-based violence? Pusha Serote, Honorable Pusha Serote, my apologies, Honorable Pusha Serote.
Thank you
Honorable
so much.
Sanele.
Thank you so much. I'll be short and straight to the point. Children are neglected. And when we deal with children, we forget the guardians and those and the parents that are supporting the children, because behavior of children changes big time. And as the child is changing, the system is failing the child, it is as much as the parents get frustrated and end up not taking the children to court. It's a problem. Gender-based violence in schools whereby the perpetrators are educators or the cleaners is not taken into consideration. As we are venting educators to deal with children as their educators, it is as much as the cleaners and almost everybody has to ensure to it that they are assisted. We had so many interventions. We've tried so many things, but still we are failing. I think it is high time that South African research is done so that we know what we are dealing with. For now, we don't know. We are just dealing with the leaves of the problem. So it's high time we know where everything is coming from so that our interventions could deal with the etiological factors of the causatives of gender-based violence. Thank you.
My apologies. Thank you, Honorable Portia Serote. Thank you, Honorable Portia Serote. You have indicated the research, even previously research whereby we know that the knowledge is power. Any honorable member who would like to give input? Member who would like to give input? Can I please see a hand? Honorable member? Honorable member who would love to give input? I've seen another hand, but I didn't see that who was that. Honorable member, kindly raise your hands again. Honorable member.
Yeah, maybe if they can't raise their hands, they can just open their microphones and speak, because perhaps some might have a challenge of raising a hand. So if anyone wants to speak, they can just open their mics and speak to you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Using the opportunity, maybe they are still rethinking. The LGBTIQ.
Honorable members, my name is Alina. If I may be allowed to stand to speak on rule number 70.7. When it comes to abuse, we actually clearly get full information and directives when we do one-on-one. And structures such as SANCO, NPOs, they do that excellently. If they can have the networking and the relationship with the Department of Social Development, I think this will give a progressive way. You know, when you are on one-on-one, and that is where you can realize advantage so if the department is a government, like social development, health, safety, can have a certain way of networking, working together, consider these smaller structures within the community will be successful in dealing with violence. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I've seen Honorable Thandi Wenyoni. The platform is yours. Honorable Thandi Wenyoni.
I pressed by mistake. Agiru said the speakers are not allowed to speak. So I pressed the thing by mistake. I was
Let me jump, Honorable Thandi Wenyoni. Let me jump, Honorable Thandi Wenyoni, as I've indicated that the participants are not allowed to speak. Can you please have the last hand that was raised? The last hand that was raised. any participant who love to give input beside, I mean, anyone who love to give input, but beside the participants?
Yes, my honorable speaker.
Okay, Honorable Portia.
Yes, we are all equal in the face of the law, according to Section 9 of the Constitution. As much as we are dealing with women issues, we mustn't forget to deal with women within their diversities. The LGBTIQA+ are still part of the women, and we also have women with disability. So thank you so much.
Simple and short. Thank you, Honorable Portia. As I've indicated earlier, a lot of issues have been raised. Honorable Sitiba said the Justice Department is failing lots of our cases, and Honorable Ramatsamai has indicated that I mean, what is actually needed? It's partnership with the Department of Community Safety, whereby I'm aware that Honorable Faith Mazibuko is there. She will be able to respond in terms of that as the time goes on. But thank you so much, because Honorable Faith Mazibuko is part of this debate. If there's no one who will love to give input, I'm moving forward.
Honorable
No, I'm not going to give.
Sorry for interruption.
Let me
Honorable
see.
Speaker. Honorable Hope
Thank you.
would like to speak. She would like to make an input.
Honorable Chair, can I allow Honorable Hobbs to speak?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity just to give an input on gender-based violence, which is a pandemic as well in our country. I believe that many a time, as South Africans, we're looking at the results of gender-based violence. We're not looking at the causative factors. Let us look at our boy children. Let us take them along from a very tender age. I wish to say that it is important that we go back and save the male seed. Let us save our male children from being, they are actually, should I say rotting? They are actually dying. There's a lot of destruction that is happening inside of them because the very same perpetrator has been abused before. And if we look at, it is said that do not look at who I am now. Ask me where I come from. Let us look at that and say, what happened to our children, our male children? Let us save them from that dungeon of the lion. Because at the end of the day, if we do not save our male children, our nation is going to die. Our nation is going to be destructive. So let's check on them. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Honorable members, I'm going to take only one hand, and I've seen Honorable Kholakhanyo. Is Honorable Kholakhanyo there? If Honorable Kholakhanyo is not there, I'm going to call Honorable Figile Poka. Honorable Figile.
Apologies, it was not meant to be. Thank you.
Honorable Figile Poka.
Apologies, ma'am. I'm trying to switch off to take down the hand. It was not meant to be.
Right. All right. Apology accepted. Through you, Honorable Chair, can I proceed?
Yes, Honorable Speaker, and maybe just to alert you to the chat box as well, and maybe to appeal to the public participation unit officials who are here to also take note of some of the inputs that are being made on the chat room, so that we don't miss any inputs, because not everybody is able to speak, but at least they are able to make their comments and their inputs on the chat room. If you can just emphasize that point, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I've seen Honorable Sanele has been raising hand for long. Can I please allow Honorable Sanele to give us her input? Honorable. Thank you. Honorable Sanele was raising her hand.
Honorable members. I thank the previous speaker for speaking in terms of
Honorable Sanele.
Okay.
Honorable Sanele.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you're audible.
Am I audible?
Yes, you can proceed.
Hello?
You can proceed.
Okay. I'd like to comment.
Honorable Sanele, I think you're having a problem. Can you please comment through the chat room? Because I think maybe you might be having a challenge in terms.
A child, include them in this conversation as they are. Hello?
You are audible. You can proceed.
Okay. We need to create safe spaces for children from home to the school system, whether in childhood or in context of conflict. We need to create a system that gets involved in childcare and form a closer connection with children from the beginning. Raise boys to break free from harmful stereotypes. Parents, educators, coaches, policymakers should play a role in challenging the belief that boys and men it's normal for them to inflict violence. To seek opportunities, that boys need to seek opportunities, that need to create spaces for them to be able to be empathetic towards women. And for that to happen, we need to include them in the conversation. We need to include them in the learning. We need to include them. Yes, I'm wrapping up. We need to include them in teaching them how to treat women, as the harmful stereotypes depict that they are men. They need to show themselves as aggressive in other ways. We need to show them other ways of being a man and other ways of being a boy with women around them. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I think we've had all the comments. As I've said earlier, gender-based violence, it is a pandemic on its own. Honorable members, allow me to call upon Honorable M. Khololo to the debate and on for the adoption of the Commission's report. Honorable M. Khololo.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair. As everything has been said, I just want to, as I conclude, to appreciate the interventions from our government. We know the community safety services, they work day and night with their brigades. We appreciate you for what you are doing. We also want to appreciate the MEC also, because she's a hands-on person when she does work. Now, in those interventions, we also want to thank social development, because they've got the men and boys dealing with femicide, dealing with all those other things. But we, as a commission, we are still saying we need proper coordination. We've got the PCOs, we've got the wards, we've got councillors. May we have those areas taking data of what is happening in our locals. And then may we also have synergize all the works, the programs. It should not be disintegrated. So let's bring all the strategies that are feasible. And one last thing before I conclude, Chair. Somebody asked a question yesterday, what happened to those structures that used to operate very well? It's been our cry as the local people, as the civil society. Why is every time when we have a new MEC, when she comes into the department, she scatters everything that she found in there, or maybe in the city, instead of working on some of those projects that are working very well. And then we really pray also that when we do funding and everything, as we're talking about empowerment, even that small NPO, once the councillors are involved, once the PCOs are involved, they're going to see there are a lot of small NPOs that are doing a lot of work and nobody's seeing them because they don't have voices. We only recognize people that comes on TV and say, I'm doing this and this. And all the money will be taken and, or resources, let me not use money. Resources will be poured into those people that are voices are ahead. But those that are really, really, really on the deep working at the local level, they're not being seen. So we are saying as the commission, may we have proper coordination, may we synergize for proper advocacy and for proper healing, because mental health is very important. It's one of the things that we ignore. And if we have to deal with mental health, let us get proper experts. Maybe we have to call all the retired social workers, unemployed social workers. When somebody spoke about the researchers, we've got so many unemployed degree students that are sitting there doing nothing, frustrated, end up doing the very gender-based violence because of their anger and everything. Can we just bring them and say, we put you in this ward, can you do research? You know, so those are the things. If we work together, partner very well, recognize everyone that is involved in, I think earlier on the speaker, Honorable Speaker Mekgwe said it's not all about self. It is all about service delivery. As a pastor, I conclude by saying, according to, okay, I forget the scripture because I'm not preaching, but it says, whatever that you are doing, do it as if you are doing it for God. I must not, when I do service delivery, I want to be seen by the MEC, I want to be seen by the mayor. Let me do as if I'm doing it for God. And once we do that, we are going to get proper wisdom to be able to handle. There will be revelations of how are we going to be handled. This human being that is not well, that is sick, that cuts people's hands and breasts and cut their throat. Thank you so much, as Honorable Khololo, Chairperson of Commission of Gender-Based Violence, hereby move adoption of the report and considering all the input that have been made according to Rule 117 and 164, I propose that the report be adopted. Thank you so much for the opportunity. God bless you. Thank you, Chair. If you want me to continue, may I continue? Chair, I think I've concluded.
Just waiting for the speaker.
Honorable the Speaker, are you there? Okay, Honorable Khololo, can you take over from where the speaker left and take us through the rest of the agenda items? Are you able to do so?
Thank you so much. The absence of the speaker, if he's still not in, I would like to get a seconder for the report by the Commission of Gender-Based.
I, Dimpho Molakeng, second the report.
Thank you so much. Is the speaker there?
No, you can proceed.
Okay. I just want to say, if ever we all are in favor of the report, all those that are in favor, may we say aye.
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 All
Aye.
those that are not in favor, may you say no. Okay, in the absence of those who are not in favor, and may we give back to the speaker who can cease to speak.
My apologies, my apologies. It kicked me out, my apologies. Through you, Chair, kindly hand the resolution of the gender-based violence.
Sorry, Honorable Speaker, I see there was a mover for the adoption, but we didn't have a seconder, unless if I missed that, if maybe
Okay.
we could have a seconder.
Okay. Thank you, Chair.
There was a seconder, but didn't.
Seconded.
The yes have it. The report is adopted. Kindly hand the resolution of the gender-based violence. Hence, it has been said that it will be emailed. I now declare the debate on gender-based violence closed. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the honorable members for their contribution in the various debates. Will the Secretary please read the fourth order?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Debate on COVID-19 social relief grant. Thank you.
My apologies, I'm going to run as fast as I can because I personally has wasted time in terms of failing to manage it. I now call on Honorable Portia Mamotame, the chairperson of this commission, to present the commission's report.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and the House at large. As alluded that we are celebrating 150 years of Umama Charlotte Maxeke, the woman who stood for transformation and empowerment of other women, who believes that success is when you are robbing others, when you are rising. If we could emulate that as well as women, we could go far. The commission today that I'm looking after is the Commission of Social Relief Distress Grant. The Social Relief Distress Grant, it emerged when we had challenges of COVID-19 that began in 2020, and government intervened in terms of this grant. It is a temporary grant to alleviate poverty that is the poverty that we are facing currently, and mostly faced by women. Women that are, most of them are female-headed families, and who are challenged by numerous things to access even this grant. However, this grant, it has come at the right time where there is a need. It only operated for a certain duration of time in 2020 until 2021 in April, and it ceased therefore. And it emerged as the crisis increased of COVID-19 that affected a number of women. And concerning this social grant, there are challenges that have been researched of inequality of women, especially in business and in workplace, that most women have lost their jobs between 2020 and 2021. So the number has increased of this social grant participant. Almost 6 million of people have registered for this social grant, of which is still a drop in the ocean according to a number of challenges to access the social grant. About 7.2 million of people are unemployed, and 34.3% are women. Therefore, no lot of intervention is required to access the social grant. There are a number of technical challenges as the social grant is accessed electronically. Not all women are technical inclined. However, they are being accessed through USSD, through IVR system, and through email and through WhatsApp. The challenge is that not all women are able to even have cell phones or neither to have all these measures or method of accessing the social grants. However, government have seen it to utilize those that are volunteers to assist, even though they are not in numbers to reach out to assist in terms of this gap. Payments are being done through post office, through banks, and through ATMs. And the challenges of the banks is that most of the people who are accessing the social grant through the banks are a challenge that there are number of charges that are happening, so they are not able to access it as a 350 social grant. And as much as some beneficiaries are able to use this method, others are struggling due to system failure. Most of the system, it utilizes robotics. Whenever they are accessing it via WhatsApp, the robotics says that they aren't human beings, so they are not interlinking with what human factor is trying to portray as information. And also other challenges that came through this accessibility of social grants is lack of background check. When we talk about background check, we have the system that is not interlinking with the system of labor, because some people were employed previously and they are still registered under UIF. Therefore, they are not those that are still registered under UIF, even though they are no longer accessing UIF for some time, they are not able to access the social grant. So there's also a need to revisit Maya system for efficiency. Stigmatization of women waiting in long queues, it's also impacted badly on women. We know that we have lost women who stood in long queues about last year in Soweto. So the proposal to this is to have measures maybe of employing the youth to train women in churches, to train women at clinics, where you know that the public normally revisit the way COVID-19 pandemic and the vaccination has attended to accessibility of people where they are. Maybe the same system should be reconsidered of also using the same method of having those tents where the youth can be able to assist those who cannot be able to apply for these social grants, mostly being women who carries their children with as they go and access the social grant. And we know the unrest as well, that it affected some of the post office for those who used to access the social grant via post office.
As a wrap-up, honorable member.
Thank you, Speaker. As I wrap up, this is a temporary relief, as alluded, that it's a relief. The relief, it's not anything that can empower women. Women need to be empowered academically. They need to be empowered through skills development and skills development that are relevant to the marketplace as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Portia Mamotami from the Social Relief Grant. Allow me to call the following speakers. As we are on the last order of the day, I'd love to call Honorable S. Chabalala. If Honorable S. Chabalala is available, kindly join us and give us a feedback.
Malibongwe.
Igama lamakosikazi.
Honorable Speaker and the House at large, my greetings and protocol observed. I am Suzagela Chabalala from Everton in the Citibank region. On Tuesday, the 7th, the Stats SA announced that our economy has grown by 1.2%, but that still has no much impact on women. In as much as some beneficiaries are able to make use of the proposed methods of getting their payments, there are still women who are still struggling to get their payouts. And challenges were identified by the Commission as lack of background check, prior application to minimize experiences of being kicked out of the system, whereby you find that a woman was employed before at some point, then retrenched, but the system still recognizes her as being an employee. And most women do not have access to smartphones. And as a result, they are unable to access the social relief of distress grant. And those with smartphones also, they are unable to operate them. And this simply means that applying online will be impossible for those women. Technology on its own, it's a hindrance to most women who are supposed to access the relief grant. The bank accounts that women are supposed to open, you'll find that the most vulnerable women, those in dire need, they cannot afford to open these bank accounts because they are costly.
As a wrap-up, honorable member.
As a wrap-up, UIF being an issue for most women, they're sidelined. You find women being sidelined due to previous employment status, even if they are no longer employees. And also, there's a need to revisit the Moya app system so that it can be more effective because it is slower and it keeps most women out of the system on its own. As I submit, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Shabalala. Allow me to call Honorable M. Kamata. Honorable M. Kamata.
Yeah. Hello.
Honorable M. Kamata.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
you are audible.
Okay, thank you very much. Can someone mute their mic? It's interrupting me. Can someone mute their mics, please?
Honorable members, can we mute our mics? Can we please mute our mics? Thank you, honorable members.
Thank you very much. My name is Maria Kamata. I'm from Tshwane region. As a commission, okay, these are our recommendations. As a commission, we also noted that the following could be done by the government. Government can form partnerships with the bank so that women will not have to pay bank charges, deposits, or produce work or study permits, since most of them are not working, hence the SRD. The above reasons, this is the reason most women do not have bank accounts. Counselors could be a good resource in the community to train women and the youth in the different areas to assist women who cannot use the CSD system, also to help those who are beneficiaries of the grant. This can address the technological challenges at hand, such as not being able to use the USSD, entering wrong or missing letters, which results in application being declined. If all communities can make use of the resources that exist in their areas, most women would be in position to access the grant. Also, centers, and I mean permanent health centers, can be established where women can go for help, not only for SRD grants, but for other challenges that they are facing in future. As I conclude, the government should look into using the circular initiative used by SASSA when paying the SRD to avoid the queues, especially with the COVID-19 situation. We must all remember that the goal is to eradicate the virus, not spread it. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Kamata. Thank you, Honorable Kamata. Can I move to Honorable Sekhatle to give us your recommendation. Honorable Sekhatla, to give us your recommendation.
Thank you very much. Honorable Eunice Sekhatla Lisijani. I am from the Western District. I would also like to maybe add two challenges before I can go to recommendation. That stigmatization of the grant could be another factor why women might be reluctant to access the grant. And as my colleagues have indicated, or honorable members have indicated, this could be caused by long queues, and this discourages the beneficiaries. And also the misuse of the grant, it has been evident that on many occasions that the relief grant in another cases is being used for other things, for an example, alcohol consumption by the recipients. I think we must acknowledge that government is doing good work in terms of giving women this relief social grants, and women do appreciate these grants. It is evident that they are making a difference in their lives. So the recommendation in assisting government towards this is that we need to consider piloting the system first and check if the system is working for everyone prior to announcing that people should apply. We have seen that there were a lot of challenges wherein women raised their dissatisfaction in terms of their outcome, the outcome of their application for this grant due to the system that was used. And that the Department of Labor needs to address the issue of the UIF by checking whether people are still employed or not, because some of the people were also not considered because they were once employed. So according to the information of the Department of Labor, in terms of their UIF, was that they are still benefiting from that, and of which it was not the case. And lastly, that training is needed on the usage of the CCSD system, especially to clearly understand as to where beneficiaries can make an appeal if they encounter a problem with the accessing of the grant. And as I conclude, Honorable Chair, is that we also need to see government ensuring or continuing with the issuance of this social relief grant, because as we say, it makes a difference in the life of women in general. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Allow me to call Honorable Mukele.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chair, Honorable Speaker, and all protocol observed in the House at large. I'm Honorable Alina P. Mukele from Gauteng Region, Zone 9, Pimville, Soweto. As a means of advice to the government, the Commission felt that there is a need to clarify beneficiaries so that their challenges can be addressed effectively, noting their varying needs, like if you compare the rural and the urban women might not have the same level of literacy. Information about the relief grant could be disseminated through the local radio stations, influential institutions, churches, and also thorough and proper research is key to government before implementing their regulation or policies. Funded NGOs in the community could be used to train women on the CSD system. The government can train them, and they in return will be in a position to train other women. The government through training could use the grant as the stimulus to local economy by encouraging savings through stokvels, umkholiso, birthday dates, and others, so as to kickstart the small business like community gardens that has given birth to dietitians, herbalists, and pharmacists. The government should also consider using vouchers as a means of grant relief initiative to avoid the abuse or misuse of the grant. In conclusion, it is also evident, on the other hand, that despite these many challenges, the hardships the introduction of the COVID-19 SRD drew the people who had previously been excluded from state assistance grant to the social protection network, thus creating a platform for basic income grant. This shows that there is an urgent need to introduce permanent basic income support. That is especially to the women between 36 and 59. Within that, the application and distribution system must be accessible and administered such that they are not time consuming and at the same time should not be perpetuate to divide between the rural and the urban women, so that it should avoid our rural women coming up to the urban areas in numbers.
As a honorable member.
Kindly give women land and we will build and work the land to the fullest. As a woman, I'm a mentor, a groomer, a worker, a groomer, and I'm working closely with the following institutes. In Ward 17 and Ward 22, there's Perseverance Development Program, Kasihero Foundation, Igusasa Youth Development Skills Transfer Programs, TTI as the Apostolic Church. We are doing a lot of programs. On the 18th of September, we'll be having an event in Pimville Zone 9. I thank you.
Thank you, honorable member. The last speaker, we jack off who will who the face, but I won't make already 350 have weave. Balo Jalakayona, Barre, Fancy Barra, 350 fella. They don't want to be given money. They want to be given opportunity. In those remarks, I would love to open for, I will now call for open time and will only allow for participants to speak to the debate. Also know that participants who are on the speaking list will not be allowed to speak during open time. Also do not forget to mention your name and rule 77.7. Thank you. Honorable Mamora. Honorable Mamora.
Thank you so much.
Honorable Mamora.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. I just want to comment on the relief. While we are speaking, because I hear we talk a lot about the grants, you know, the people are hungry out there. I'm from Ward 42. Since hard lockdown, I've been doing with my team and the NPOs around. We are doing food resilience. And we have approached the PCOs, we have approached the councillors, we have approached different people that we really come and see what is happening in those areas. Every Wednesday, we have over 300 people we can't even afford. But this and also, it also so social development in a that provision ya gore fane ka di dry grocery a re tsebe gore di ya go kae ra tseba ko municipality tsa rona go na le di dry grocery go na at least vegetable re ya di thola ra kgopela gore speaker kenella o cheke gore re ka kgona go berekisana yang le di department re fe batho dijo yo romile mo re leng teng ra leboga.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I've seen the hand happy fire, Honorable Portia Serote. Honorable Portia Serote.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. First of all, I would like to thank the initiatives by the government in these hard and trying times. In agreement to all the speakers, there is a need for this money at this time to be given. But however, COVID-19 has taught us a lot of things to say a whole lot of people are not working in the country. But the question that I'm asking myself is that, will we be able to give this 350 rand up until when? Because it is not a sustainable way of doing things. I so wish as a province, we should learn on that, depending on the statistics of unemployed women. We need to create a sustainable way of these women to deal with their own impairments. Because if it should happen that they cut this money at any time, whilst people have planned and budgeted on it, I'm worried on what is it that needs to be done. And I'm glad that the issues, the challenges that comes with it in terms of the banks and they have been listed and together with the solution of how they can be resolved. So thank you. Sustainability is what is important, because in a true sense of everything, 350 rand for a woman who has children, who has to pay rent, pay paraffin and all of that to buy pets to start with, it is not enough at all. So we need something that will sustain them.
Thank you, Honorable Portia Sorote. Thank you, Honorable Portia Sorote. I've seen a hand there. Yeah, Honorable Lomasondo. Honorable Lomasondo.
Ngithanda ukubonga siyambonga uhulumeni wethu ngemali le abaphe yona abomama u350 kodwa u350 akanele kubomama. Sicela wonke ama department ka government angenelele, especially department social development, department agriculture, those starter packs benizipha omama ukuthi ba develop ama backyard food gardens. Siyacela ukuthi buyani futhi emalokishini wethu nibaphe omama bafunde ukutshala, because ekutshaleni bangaphinde futhi bazenzele imali. Uyatshala uma sowuvuna uyakwazi ukuthi uyothengisa. Siyababongela kakhulu omama.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Simple and short, straight to the point. Previous speakers have said it so much. They've talked about sustainability, which is needed in most women, than the 150. The other speaker said that 350 is not enough. The previous speaker said that partnership with agriculture will make sure that it assists a wise person say that teach me how to make money, don't give me money. I'm asking if I'm going to check maybe there's another hand that needs to give input. Honorable member who would like to give input before I go back to Honorable P. Mamotane. Through you, Chair, can I proceed? Through you, Honorable Chairperson. Through you, Honorable Chairperson, can I proceed? Let me proceed. Let me proceed. I would love to call Honorable P. Mamotane. Please reply to the debate and move for the adoption of the Commission's report.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. As it has been alluded, especially when it comes to women are not people who want to be dependent, do not like dependency. Women like to be self-sufficient and sustainable. We are requesting to our government to really relook into the land distribution where women can build their own houses. Women should also have skills transfer that male dominant are doing. Women should build their own houses, they should do their own farming, and women should be empowered to sustain themselves, especially after this money cease, because it is temporary to just alleviate poverty. And poverty being the third pandemic, because it's the root cause of all these things that we spoke about in this commission. We have seen the unrest, we are talking about gender violence, we are talking about all these things. It's because the root cause is poverty. So the way of dealing with poverty is the mindset. I am coming from a foundation called Transforming Leaders' Character. It all begins in your mind. When you are hungry, what do? So let the solution be granted. And in conclusion, I, Honorable Portia Mamotane, the chairperson of the Commission on Social Relief Distress Grant, hereby adopt Commission report in terms of Rule 117 and in Rule 164, taking into account all the contribution that has been made in this commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable P. Mamotane. When you are hungry, what do you do? I now call for a seconder. in that regard?
Seconded.
I, Alina Mokele, move for seconded.
Thank you. And I put the question, all those in favor say yes?
Yes.
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 I could see people are hungry. All those not in favor say no. The yes have it, the report is adopted. The resolution will be sent via email as the Honorable Chairperson has just indicated. I now declare the debate on gender-based violence closed. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the honorable members of the various commissions for their contributions in the various debates. I would love to call the Honorable Kifilo Kekana, the Chairperson of Social Development Portfolio Committee, to receive the resolution. Thank you, Honorable Arkekana, the Chairperson of the Social Development Portfolio Committee, for your address. No. My apologies, my apologies. There was a mistake there. Let me go back. After being seconded, I now declare the debate on gender-based violence closed. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the honorable members for their contributions in the various debates. I would like to call on the Honorable Refila Kekana, the Chairperson of the Social Development Committee, to receive the resolutions. Honorable Refila Kekana. Honorable Refila Kekana. Through you, Chair. Through you, Chair.
As Speaker, you may proceed to the Chair of Chairs. Honorable Kekana is experiencing challenges. MTN is attending to her. You may proceed to the Chair of Chairs, and she will then receive the resolutions after.
Should I proceed with the program through you?
Yes, you may.
I think she's the last person that needs to come on board before I call two speakers to come and give vote of thanks. Can I please wait for her for 2 minutes? Through you. Through you. Can we just wait for 2 minutes for Honorable Kekana?
That is fine, Chair. That is fine, Honorable Speaker. My apologies.
Thank you. Are we winning, Honorable Kekana?
Yes, I'm back on. Can you hear me?
Yes, you are clearly more audible.
Okay.
You can now proceed.
Yeah, I had a challenge. I had to log out and in again. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Macy Mutaung, and the collective of the honorable members of this House for affording me the opportunity and honor to receive these extensive and powerful resolutions and recommendations on behalf of the Portfolio Committee on Social Development. And I must say that as the Portfolio Committee on Social Development, we carry on our shoulders an oversight responsibility over the Gauteng Department of Social Development. And it is through engagements such as these that were held today that we will be able to make the necessary interventions in improving the lives of the most vulnerable in society. We are, as the Portfolio Committee, your mouthpiece, and honorable members are the voice of the voiceless. And we really thank you for that. And without your willingness and active participation, we wouldn't be able to, as the legislature, execute our core mandate of public participation. That is that of ensuring that this democratic government of ours indeed is a government of the people, by the people. Your outspokenness, your knowledge, and the insight on matters affecting women, as well as your burning desire to uplift the lives of members of society, does not go unnoticed and will one day be captured in the blank pages of history. You are the unsung heroines of our times, and in you, the spirit of Mama Winnie Madikizela Mandela and Mama Charlotte Maxeke lives on. I must say that Sis Kanyangani Amakhosikazi Amahle, you are also beautiful and powerful, and thank you very much for being you. Madam Speaker, thank you so much for steering this ship so well, as you promised so confidently in the dry run that we held yesterday. And on that note, I, Refilwe Kekana, the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Social Development in the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, therefore receives the resolutions from the commissions on women's sector parliament held on this day, the 9th of September 2021, for further engagement with the Gauteng executive and processing through the established committee processes in the legislature, with the ultimate tabling of the sector parliament resolutions to the House. A feedback session will be arranged with yourselves once all the due processes have been concluded. And I want to thank you, Honorable Speaker, and also take the opportunity. I'm not sure if the Honorable Chair of Chess, Sizakele Malobane, has come to the podium to deliver the vote of thanks, but if she has not done so, perhaps I should take this opportunity to introduce her to the House so that she can take the podium and deliver the vote of thanks. And in her absence, I think the Deputy Chair of Committees should be able to do that for us. Thank you very much. In this session, I think I can be advised by yourselves, Honorable Speaker, because I was cut off for a while there, so I did not hear whether the Honorable Chair of Committees was able to deliver the vote of thanks. Okay, thank you very much. Then, Honorable Chair of Chess, over to you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Let me first acknowledge the Speaker, Mentombi Mekwe, the Deputy Speaker, Nomvuyo Mhlagaza Manamela, the Deputy Chairperson of Committees, Mpapa Kanyane. Let me also acknowledge and thank the MEC for Community Safety and Security, Honorable Mazibuko, the Chairperson, yourself, Mary Refilwe Kekana, Honorable Chairpersons who are present, as well as members of this House, colleagues, friends, and ladies and gentlemen. Malibongwe.
Igama lamakhosikazi.
I'm privileged and honored to have been asked to thank all of you for having devoted your time to this noble cause. Most of our humble gratitude goes to our program director, Mayor Refilwe Kekana, for having directed the proceedings together with the with the Speaker of the House in a most respectful, intelligent, passionate, and informed manner. To MEC Faith Mazibuko, thank you for taking the time out for your busy schedule to address this August meeting. It is an indication that the Gauteng government really cares about the plight of our women. To the Speaker of GPL, Mentombi Mekwe, thank you for the stewardship and courage. Thank you for your tireless efforts geared towards giving a better life to all our people. To the chairpersons and Gauteng Provincial Legislature, MPLs, we sincerely thank each and every one of you for partaking in this sector parliament. We hope this year is filled. We hope that this year is filled with much.
We have lost Honorable Sizakele.
Yeah, I think you can continue, Honorable Speaker, with the program. If Honorable Sizakele comes back, she will proceed if we have not yet adjourned, but I think you can proceed with the order of proceedings towards the last end of the program.
Thank you, honorable member. Allow me to thank Honorable Kifilwe Kekana, the chairperson of Social Development Portfolio Committee, for receiving the resolutions. They said, government of people to the people. Watinta bafazi, watinta imbogodo. Let's continue to fight for what is right for us as women. With these few words of mine, I'd like to thank Honorable Kekana, the chairperson of Social Development Portfolio Committee, for your address. And hence, we had Honorable Sizakele Nkosi Malobane to give us a vote of thanks. I think we've lost her. But in that regard, thank you, Honorable Sizakele Nkosi Malobane, for your address, because you've already started. With these few words of mine, I'd like to thank all the participants and the agents, the House, and with all the clinches that we had, we humbly apologize for every mishaps that we had, but most importantly is what have we achieved, what we wanted to achieve. That concludes the business of the day. The House is now adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you to everyone.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable
Speaker.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And all honorable members, thank you, colleagues. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a nice weekend.
Bye-bye.